Chapter 198. Blazing essence blood surged and pierced through the sky, faintly turning into a giant dragon-shaped pillar. Instantly, a blazing aura surged, shocking the surrounding people. Under Su Yan's awakened essence blood, they felt as if they were facing a huge volcano. The essence blood contained within was too domineering. His fist became even more resplendent as it blasted through the sky, containing a peerlessly powerful physical strength as it blasted towards the gray creature. The gray creature's expression changed greatly, and it felt suffocated. It was hard to imagine that this came from a young man's body. The moment it blasted towards it, its sturdy body showed signs of shattering. Not good. The gray creature immediately took out a divine weapon and slashed it towards Su Yan's fist. "He's cheating," a human cultivator reminded. "No matter," Tai Baokai said heroically. "Watch how my subordinate beats up this stone man." "Shut up." The gray creature was enraged by Tai Baocai's words. They were stone creatures, and now Tai Baokai was calling them stone men. This made the gray creature's hair stand on end, and it took out its divine weapon to wildly hack at Su Yan. Heavens! The surrounding people sucked in a breath of cold air as they saw Su Yan's tyrannical punch. This punch was too domineering and shocking. He didn't even try to dodge, and it immediately blasted onto the divine weapon. Crack! This was a small silver cauldron, but under Su Yan's fist, it cracked and collapsed. Heavens! He can actually destroy a divine weapon. Could this person's cultivation be about to enter the Transcendence realm? The crowd was in an uproar. After all, this was a divine weapon, but Su Yan actually destroyed it with a single punch. Could his body be even sturdier than a divine weapon? The Golden Dragon King was shocked. Although he could do it, if this person was Su Yan, then it would be incredible. Su Yan wasn't even in the Transcendent realm. However, his physical body was actually tougher than ordinary divine weapons. The potential of his physical body was too shocking. If he improved further, wouldn't he be able to fight with the physical body of a Transcendence realm cultivator? The younger generation of the Savage Mountain was the majority. If Su Yan really had such combat strength, he would be able to do whatever he wanted in the Savage Mountain. Bang! The gray creature's entire body trembled as it flew outwards. Even though it was a rock-type creature, it was still divided into 3, 6, and 9 grades. Rumor has it that it was a heaven-defying creature that was born from a gem between heaven and earth, possessing unmatched fighting strength as soon as it was born. However, this type of creature was just too rare. The surrounding people felt their hair stand on end. Humans were born with weak bodies, but this human youth's body was stronger than ordinary divine weapons. "And you, do you want to take me as your battle servant?" Su Yan pointed at the creature with the projection of the vicious bird behind him. The creature was startled, and its face flushed red. Originally, it thought that Su Yan was very weak and could be easily suppressed. Who knew that his physical body was so abnormal? In the Savage Mountain, Ingjia's powerful physical body was absolutely intimidating. Demon cultivators all revered martial strength. Su Yan's tyrannical strength attracted their approval. Some female demons stared at him with fiery eyes. With such strength, his physical body must be very sturdy. Rumble. Suddenly, the towering Savage Mountain spread out. It was as if a corner of the starry sky was falling down, emitting an oppressive aura. It was as if a giant starry mountain was pressing down on everything within 1,000 miles from the Savage Mountain. A silvery figure with overflowing divine light walked down from the mountain. As it moved, it emitted a vast amount of starry sky blood essence. Su Yan's pupils suddenly shrank. This creature's aura was very shocking. Its blood essence was as deep as the sea, about to pierce through the sky. This was a Transcendence realm cultivator, a king in the field of physical body. If I complete this starry sky divine furnace and combine the 3 furnaces into one, I should have a body like this. Su Yan thought to himself. However, it was very difficult to make the leap. It's a giant starry sky beast. It should be that king beast. Everyone was discussing spiritedly. Some cultivators looked at the creature walking down from the savage mountain with reverence. It had a slender body with a head full of silver hair. Its skin was snow white and sparkling. It had a handsome appearance, and its eyes were as bright as the starry sky, especially the horns on its forehead. They were light gold and intertwined with mysterious starry sky patterns. They were about to turn into Tao marks. The giant starry sky beast was originally a race favored by the heavens. Any adult giant starry sky beast was comparable to an existence like the Alcade Hallmaster. This race fed on the stars. However, this race had very few descendants, but every one of them had the power to dominate the same realm. As for this giant starry sky beast, it was the legendary king beast of starry sky, a divine beast that only appeared once every 10,000 years. Brother Kong, I trust you have been well since we last met. Little Dragon King didn't dare to be arrogant. He and Brother Kong had never fought before, but he knew how terrifying the giant starry sky beast was, especially when its bloodline returned to its ancestral state. It was unknown whether the silver creature was male or female, but its appearance was extremely handsome. Regardless of whether it was male or female, it could charm a large group of people. It could be said that both men and women were attracted to it. There were many creatures that admired it. Outsiders didn't know its name either. Little Dragon King called it Brother Kong, and its race's surname was Kong. It was rumored that the giant starry sky beast bloodline was extremely terrifying in the distant past. It was said that it originated from the demon domain, but for some reason, its origin became the Big Dipper starfield. Little Dragon King, did my subordinates offend you? The giant starry sky beast appeared here. Its entire body was emitting a heaven-shocking power. Its silver hair danced in the wind, and its silver pupils emitted a divine radiance that was as bright as the starry sky. The gray creature and the other two were ashamed. After all, they lost face here, and the giant starry sky beast also lost face. Little Dragon King explained the cause and effect of the matter. The giant starry sky beast's eyes were faintly cold as it looked at the Tai Bao Kai. It dared to call itself a beast god. A giant starry sky beast that had returned to its ancestral state was enough to be called a beast god, but it still hadn't returned to its ancestral state. So it was you. When the giant starry sky beast saw Su Yin, its silver pupils were extremely shocking. It actually saw through Su Yan's 9 transformations divine ability. After all, Su Yin had just started cultivating the 9 transformations divine ability, and the giant starry sky beast also possessed a rare eye technique. Little Dragon King's expression changed. He said from the side, Brother Kong, they are my father's honored guests. Don't use the Golden Dragon King to intimidate me. The giant starry sky beast's aura suddenly became blazing. Silver divine radiance surged and burned. It could be called a silver divine furnace that covered all directions. This made the surrounding people pale. Could it be that the giant starry sky beast was about to make a move? Even the Big Dipper Starfield Palace didn't want to provoke this bloodline. This race had a long lifespan, and there was an old ancestor that was hibernating within the race. Brother Kong, what are you doing? You are making things difficult for my friend in my territory. Little Dragon King's might was awe-inspiring, but he wasn't afraid of it. Humph! The giant starry sky beast snorted coldly. Its eyes kept staring, and it couldn't tell whether it was a man or a woman. It said, I have an elder who has exhausted his lifespan and wants a king medicine. What do you think I should do? I don't have a king medicine, Su Yin replied. I have a spirit medicine. Do you want it? You don't have it, but I can use you to trade. The giant starry sky beast's might was shocking. Its words made Little Dragon King fly into a rage. You are in the transcendence realm, but you're bullying my friend. Isn't that a bit too much? Bullying? The giant starry sky beast said disdainfully, Is there a need to bully? Even if I suppress my cultivation to the Tao Gate realm, can it defeat me? This bloodline was born with strong physical bodies and extremely overbearing combat power. They didn't fear any challengers. It was rumored that a giant starry sky beast, that atavism was comparable to a sovereign body. I don't mind fighting. If you lose, You have to hand over 50 kilograms of void stone. Tai Baokai was furious. This was too arrogant. You really dare to open your mouth? The giant starry sky beast's eyes flashed coldly. It said calmly, "Take out the astral body first." A supreme-grade astral body was very important to the giant starry sky beast. It had an astral body treasure, but hadn't reached the supreme-grade level. "You really think I'm a pushover?" Su Yin said angrily. "You want my treasure as soon as you come and want to trade me for a king medicine. Are you sure you want to suppress your cultivation to fight with me?" "Su Yin, don't fight with it." Little Dragon King knew how terrifying a giant starry sky beast that was about to atavism was. He quickly said, "If you want to fight, I'll fight with you." "Little Dragon King, this is none of your business." The giant starry sky beast said arrogantly, "You and I are both geniuses of the demon race. Why do you have to offend my race to protect the human race? If you don't interfere, I don't need the Pearl of the Great Path. How about I give it to you?" Su Yin and Tai Baokai looked at each other. Something was really wrong. They could only leave this place. After all, the Star Pagoda and the Pearl of the Great Path were both activated. There was still a way out. Little Dragon King said angrily, "Giant starry sky beast, what kind of person do you think I am? If you have the ability, go and find Shueguan. He is now the Northern Dipper Supreme. Even Su Yin dares to fight with Shueguan. Do you dare?" The battle at Marsh City was just a small trick. "It's nothing." The giant starry sky beast said coldly, "I will fight with Shueguan sooner or later." "Kid, you are too arrogant. You are not even grown up yet, and you dare to be so arrogant." Tai Baokai stared and said, "Do you think you are worthy to fight with Supreme Shueguan? Your atavism has just begun. I see that a part of your starry sky horn ancestral pattern has just been born, and it is badly damaged. It is impossible for you to atavism." Tai Baokai made the giant starry sky beast hate Shueguan with just a few words. However, its words made the giant starry sky beast bewildered. It shouted, "What do you know? You're spouting nonsense. Be careful, or I'll suppress you. If you don't believe me, go home and ask your elders. How can you atavism without the myriad demon pool?" Tai Baokai bared its teeth. "Who are you? How do you know about the myriad demon pool?" The giant starry sky beast was stunned. The myriad demon pool was the most powerful treasure land in the demon domain. How could an outsider use it? "If you want to know, take this beast god as your master." Tai Baocai's words almost made Little Dragon King fall. The giant starry sky beast's face turned green. It raised its claws and was about to strike. However, a wave of energy flowed out from the giant starry sky beast's forehead. A horrifying being had arrived. It was only a primordial spirit, but the energy it emitted was enough to make the sky darken. However, in the barbaric mountain, its primordial spirit could not exert its strength. As expected, the giant starry sky beast family values the giant starry sky beast very much. There is a giant starry sky beast overseeing the giant starry sky beast consciousness. The giant starry sky beast's voice had been cut off by Little Dragon King. The people outside did not know what they were talking about, but the arrival of a giant starry sky beast's primordial spirit made the beast tremble with fear. "Young friend, come have a chat." The giant starry sky beast took the Tai Baokai to the sky and talked to it in secret. The giant starry sky beast was shocked. She stared at Su Yin with her silver eyes. A horrifying energy was spreading out from her body. Su Yin saw this and said coldly, "If you want to fight, I will fight with you." Su Yin, Little Dragon King, was shocked. He stared at the giant starry sky beast and said, "Don't make a mistake. Your master is talking to Brother Baokai. Be careful not to make a mistake. It's nothing to fight at the same level." The giant starry sky beast looked proud. It said, "Take out the astral body. I will not suppress you for Little Dragon King's sake, but I must get the astral body. If you lose, give me 500 kilograms of heavenly essence stones." Su Yin snorted. "Of course, this is not enough. The value of a top-grade astral body is shocking. Add another 50 kilograms of void stones. Where does your courage come from? I can suppress you with one move." The giant starry sky beast's silver eyes flashed with anger. The horn on its forehead was dazzling. Silver lightning shot out one after another, piercing through the sky and rushing toward Su Yan. Chapter 199. These lightning bolts didn't look strong at first, but the moment they drilled out from its horns, they enlarged one after another. They were like giant silver swords, and the airflow they emitted was about to split the sky. The starry sky beast king's body was extremely powerful. As for its horns, they were born naturally. As it grew older, its power became more and more amazing. The silver lightning filled the sky, dancing between heaven and earth. It contained an extremely powerful destructive force and dived toward Su Yan. Boom! Under the shocking gaze of the surrounding people, Su Yan's palm formed a fist seal. The essence blood in his body broke out, and for a moment, he was extremely powerful. He raised his fist and punched the sky. He was unstoppable, like a god of war rushing to the sky. When the essence blood in his body boiled, the world was roaring. This fist was earth-shattering. It bombarded the sky, full of silver lightning, and it began to tremble and shatter. The surrounding cultivators' faces changed dramatically. Although the starry sky beast king didn't use its full strength, its attack was still very powerful. The result shocked them. It was blown apart by this human youth's fist. This was too shocking. Could it be that this human youth was a heavenly genius? Su Yan's breath calmed down. His long black hair draped over his shoulders, and his clothes fluttered in the wind. He looked at the starry sky beast king, and the battle blood in his body boiled. He wanted to have a fair fight with this monster that was about to reach the supreme body. The starry sky beast king was furious. It raised its claws and was about to slash. The young dragon king frowned and said, "Brother Kong, how can you go back on your words? You just lost. You said it. Why are you going back on your words now?" Seeing the young dragon king standing in front of it, the starry sky beast king flew into a rage. Its aura surged out like a tidal wave. Its flesh shell released millions of silvery divine rays that illuminated the sky. The blood and chi in its body could be said to be a vast ocean. So strong, Su Yan clenched his fists. He had to cultivate the starry sky divine furnace. Only then could he compete with the geniuses. After all, they were all Transcendence Realm cultivators. Even if they cultivated the starry sky divine furnace, they were still some distance away from the Transcendence Realm. Buzz! A huge hand of primordial spirit fell from the sky. It contained a vast aura of the starry sky. No matter how strong the giant beast of starry sky was, it seemed very weak in the face of this aura. After all, those who could be called big shots were all existences who had comprehended the great Tao. This ancestor of the astral behemoth lineage was one of them. Damn it! The Beast King was enraged. It stared at Su Yan with its silver eyes and shouted, "Kid, just you wait. Next time, I will not let you get away so easily. Take care, I won't see you out." Su Yan waved his hand, causing the Cosmic Beast King to spit out a mouthful of blood. It struggled and was taken away by the ancestor of the Cosmic Beast clan. Tai Baokai also appeared here. Su Yan and the little Dragon King both walked over. They really wanted to ask what they were talking about just now. Nothing much. I just wanted to ask about the Myriad Demon Pool. Tai Baokai looked like an expert. He stood up straight and proudly said with his hands behind his back, "The astral behemoth lineage belongs to the demon realm. I don't know why this lineage left the demon realm. Their knowledge of their ancestors is limited. I just said that as long as I go to the Myriad Demon Pool, I can achieve atavism. If the astral beast of starry sky can really achieve atavism, then Shueguan has met his match." The little Dragon King said solemnly, "He is getting stronger and stronger now. He has already begun to comprehend the great Tao. In the Big Dipper starfield, I'm afraid that only the sovereign physique can compete with Shueguan. However, the sovereign physique has disappeared for many years." Little Dragon King, don't you know which almighty inheritance Shueguan has obtained? Tai Baotsai's heart felt like it was being scratched by a cat. It would be great if I knew. Little Dragon King shook his head and sighed. The inheritance of an almighty. I don't know what kind of dog's hit luck this guy has to encounter such a fortuitous encounter. However, this guy is really good at hiding. Until now, Supreme Shui Guan hasn't shown that he has any secret inheritance related to the inheritance of an almighty. The deeper he hides it, the stronger the almighty inheritance he obtained. Tai Baokai smacked his lips and said, "It would be great if I knew the location of the almighty inheritance." The little Dragon King was speechless. Could it be that he wanted the almighty inheritance? Su Yin suddenly said, "Shui Guan has been to the Ziwei Starfield. I guess the almighty inheritance he obtained is in the Ziwei Starfield. If it is in the Big Dipper Starfield, the Shui family can't hide this secret, right? He has been to the Ziwei Starfield." This made the little Dragon King's expression change. How old was Shui Guan? Moreover, with the Shui family's foundation, it was too difficult to cross the Starfield. Even if it was possible, they wouldn't let Shui Guan go to the Ziwei Starfield. It's very possible. It was only a suspicion now. If they really knew the destination, the entire universe would erupt into a bloody storm. Who didn't want the almighty inheritance? With Shui Guan's current foundation, it was impossible for him to obtain all the almighty inheritance. Shui Guan even had the king medicine, and the number was unknown. It was seriously suspected that he had obtained the almighty inheritance. The little Dragon King didn't stay here for long. Before he left, he told them that the Star Tomb would open in less than 3 months, and they must rush in as soon as possible. "We must go to the Star Tomb," Tai Baokai said. "After all, it is the strongest ancient star with life. It is suitable for cultivation. If we can obtain some opportunities in the strongest ancient star with life, we might be able to evolve a stronger divine power gate." Hearing this, Su Yin nodded and said, "When the 9 Daesong gates combine, it will evolve into a secret divine power gate. There are also strong and weak divine power gates. It is said that it is related to the birth of the natal secret technique in the future." That's right. One's own secret technique is the strongest, just like the natal artifact. Tai Baokai said, "Only the natal artifact that is refined by oneself can be merged with one's body. The natal secret technique that is born from it might be comparable to the myriad heavens' divine power." Su Yan's heart thumped. "I have only mastered the Big Dipper Fist, and it is only one great divine power. The secret divine power gate can create 9 great divine powers. If I can gather all 9 great divine powers and engrave them in the divine power gate, when the time comes, who will be able to stop it?" Tai Baokai said with disdain. "Wishful thinking, too wishful thinking. Not to mention a total of 9. Just obtaining one was already a great opportunity. Among the 10 great heavenly sacred arts, other than a few that were lost, the rest were in the hands of the various supreme overlords. Brat, the Crepe Myrtle sect has a great divine power." Tai Baokai said with red eyes, "That is a myriad heavens divine power. Wait until EC Yun becomes the saintess. Brat, take the initiative to offer your body and say some nice words. If you can make her happy, she might secretly pass it to you." "With my temperament, do I still need to offer my body?" Su Yin said proudly. Tai Baokai almost rolled on the ground as he roared. "You're too arrogant. You should be struck by lightning." They continued to walk towards the desolate mountain. When they got close to the desolate mountain, Su Yan's eyes were filled with shock. He thought of a giant that stood here for a long time and turned into a mountain. As time passed, it was still strong and majestic. This mountain was not ordinary. It was one with the heaven and earth, one with the starry sky, as if it was a part of the heaven and earth. The mountain was filled with an ancient, desolate atmosphere and a primitive aura. It was like a mountain that had existed since the beginning of the world. Su Yin could not see through the desolate mountain's terrain. It was too majestic. There were even countless cultivators sitting cross-legged on the mountain. There were geniuses of all races and ordinary creatures. They were all very pious. Over the years, there had been people who had gained something from the desolate mountain. After all, there were no requirements. Over time, it became a divine mountain that was revered by people. I really want to see what is at the peak. Rumor has it that there is a divine temple at the peak. There is a great fortune in the temple. It is said to be an inheritance left behind by a terrifying giant. Someone once opened the doors of the divine temple, but it was too long ago. Even now, no one knows what was left behind at the peak of the desolate mountain. Some cultivators were discussing at the foot of the mountain. The desolate mountain was too famous. Even Supreme Shwegwan had come here. It was said that the inheritance of the desolate mountain was very profound, and there were all kinds of things. As long as one could see a corner of it, one would have great achievements in the future. Dong. Su Yin walked towards the desolate mountain. This mountain was very strange. It contained a kind of power that could bind one's body. Su Yan's eyes looked at the mountain he was in. Every region had some veins. They were like sunken footprints, and there was a mysterious aura around them. There were countless footprints like this in the desolate mountain. These were the marks of inheritance left behind by powerful experts in ancient times. Let's see what's here. Su Yin stepped on one of the marks. The mark formed by the veins shone on its own. It emitted waves of mysterious aura that penetrated Su Yan's body. At this moment, Su Yin felt a kind of power. It was very difficult to describe. It was very profound. He carefully savored it and gradually understood that this was a method of operating the natural laws. He constantly moved his position and stepped on more than 10 veins. Gradually, he felt a headache coming. There was no doubt that the desolate mountain had an inheritance. However, there were all kinds of inheritances in every field. Moreover, this was only a small part of it. He felt that if he had the patience to look through all the inheritances in the desolate mountain, it would take him more than 10,000 years. Did you see anything? The Tai Baokai asked. It had come here before, but didn't gain anything. Su Yin shook his head and said, Let's go up and take a look. Just like that, they walked towards the summit. Every step was very slow. They had to go through a trial and comprehend the inheritance veins before they could pass. Moreover, the higher they went, the stronger the pressure. It was time to test the human body. Su Yin looked up and found that there were many cultivators sitting cross-legged in an area close to the summit. He didn't know how long they had been sitting there, but the aura in their bodies was still. Teacher Yuan. Su Yin was pleasantly surprised to find Yuan. He wasn't far from the summit. He had been here for a year. It was as if he had been bewitched. He didn't sleep or rest to comprehend the inheritances in the desolate mountain. Su Yin and the Tai Baokai climbed quickly. With their comprehension of the laws, it wasn't difficult for them to get close to Yuan. Little brat, look. The guy who wanted to kill this beast deity is here. Hurry up and protect him. The Tai Baokai was shocked. It suddenly saw a tall youth appear here. He wasn't far from them and was also climbing the desolate mountain. Su Yan's expression was solemn. Then, he patrolled the steps of the tall youth. His soles were suffused with waves of extremely profound veins. They were constantly evolving and interweaving, faintly emitting the aura of a great divine ability. The aura of a great divine ability, the aura of the void. The Tai Baokai slipped over and observed excitedly. Su Yin was also shocked. The tall youth was mumbling to himself. No one knew what he was saying. His hair was messy as he looked at the desolate mountain. The veins beneath his feet were glowing. He was also climbing the mountain. Chapter 200. Su Yin and Tai Baokai watched with their eyes wide open. They realized that as the young slave stepped on the imprints seemed to have been disintegrated. The imprint seemed to have been disintegrated. The originally complicated imprint was revealed and turned into a diagram of secret patterns of rules. A law pattern diagram that involves the void domain. Su Yan's eyes lit up as he observed these law pattern diagrams. He had cultivated the void step and could easily grasp these law pattern diagrams. Furthermore, when Tai Baokai and Su Yin were comprehending the Great Tao Pearl, their grasp of the laws had improved by leaps and bounds. Therefore, they could easily comprehend the essence of these law pattern diagrams. If we were to comprehend from the imprints, we would need to spend some time. Su Yin thought to himself. These law pattern diagrams weren't of much help to them, but now that the young slave had disappeared and reappeared, he had strangely advanced more than 10 meters. The young slave stopped, and stepped on the second imprint. This imprint instantly glowed and transformed into a law pattern diagram again. Hurry up and follow. Tai Baokai and Su Yin were pleasantly surprised. The soles of their feet glowed with divine radiance and evolved the mystical power of the law pattern diagrams. They crossed to the front of the young slave with the power of laws and stared at the second law pattern diagram that he had created. Just like that, they followed the tall man and began to climb the mountain step by step. With every step, the Tao and law evolved from the imprints became more profound. They went from simple to complex and gradually grasped it. When they had learned more than 10 law pattern diagrams, they were already struggling. This is very likely an incredible divine art. It probably involves the space-time domain. We still can't see the general idea. If we follow him, we can find an inheritance in Savage Mountain. There are countless imprints in Savage Mountain. I didn't expect that the inheritance of some imprints could be combined and evolved into a divine art. We are in luck. This expert is delirious. He wants to climb the mountain and involuntarily manifested the law pattern diagrams contained in the imprints. We might be able to follow this path and reach the peak. Su Yin and Tai Baokai discussed excitedly. If it wasn't for this mysterious man, they wouldn't have discovered the secret of Savage Mountain. Perhaps there were other divine arts hidden in Savage Mountain, but they would need to search through the endless imprints. This was like searching for a needle in a haystack. It would take a very long time. It would easily take hundreds of years. They didn't have that much time to waste here. Even the most heaven-defying geniuses wouldn't be able to comprehend it in a short time. Just as they guessed, the tall man with messy hair was delirious looked at the peak of Savage Mountain. His empty eyes were filled with vigor. He was walking, and with every step he took, the bottom of his foot would step on the imprint, revealing the inheritance contained in the imprint into a secret pattern diagram. Su Yin and Tai Baocai's bodies were humming faintly. They were close to the peak, but the suppression that targeted their bodies was extremely powerful. Baokai, did you notice that Savage Mountain should be a treasure that can suppress a person's strength? Su Yin said in astonishment. For a primordial realm cultivator to come up here, how powerful is this treasure? Even powerful figures will be suppressed if they come up here. Perhaps we can dig out its secret when we reach the peak. Su Yin and Tai Baokai followed behind the mysterious man. The manifested imprints in the area they were in were already astonishing. They were all glistening and contained a terrifying aura. It was as though they were left behind by an astonishing existence. The law pattern diagrams manifested one after another. Su Yin had learned about 20 of them. Now it was extremely strenuous for him. His speed of comprehension began to slow down because the spatial domain involved in the secret pattern diagrams was becoming more profound. This expert seems to have noticed that we are cultivating with him. He is waiting for us. Tai Baokai was so excited that he completely forgot about his previous enmity. Su Yin was also pleasantly surprised. He sighed that the 2 steamers of buns had not been given for nothing. Su Yin had a solemn expression as his eyes reflected the scene of the secret pattern diagrams. One after another, the secret pattern diagrams combined together, transforming into footprints. These footprints flowed with wisps of aura, like the power of the void that emanated out. It was a very terrifying manifestation. Su Yin vanished into thin air. When he reappeared, he had already traversed 100 feet. What mystic technique is this? How can it be so terrifying? Su Yin was astounded. He felt like he had teleported. He had arrived here in an instant. If he were to fight an expert, he would be like a tiger that had grown wings. This beast deity reckons that it is very likely to be a great divine ability that involves the spatial domain. Its value is boundless. Could it be the spatial mystic technique of the 72 great divine abilities? Tai Baokai was also tongue-tied. In short, they had encountered a great opportunity. Great divine abilities were too rare and precious. If not for the bamboo moon imparting the Big Dipper fist to him, Su Yin would not even have a single great divine ability. As for the spatial domain mystic technique, it was even rarer. Did you guys notice? Those 3 people are moving very quickly. A few creatures were watching from the foot of Mount Savage. Some people were quickly approaching the peak and attracted everyone's attention. As time passed, these people's expressions changed. The foot of the mountain was in an uproar. This sacred mountain of Mount Savage definitely hid a shocking inheritance. It was too difficult to climb to the peak. It required an extremely strong physical body and exceptional comprehension ability. Su Yin and Tai Baokai were under great pressure, but it was not enough to stump them. Another person has awakened. Why do I see a terrifying red sun rising in the sky? Could it be that a shocking inheritance has appeared? The foot of the mountain was in an uproar. This place was far from the peak, so it was difficult to see the scene clearly. But now they saw a cultivator awakening. His entire body was covered in hazy, auspicious clouds. His physical body seemed to have transformed into a red sun that rose slowly. His entire body rippled with a surging source of blood essence. It was shocking. Mount Savage's inheritance had to be found among the millions of imprints. This was a vast project in itself. Every time someone obtained a precious inheritance, it would cause a commotion in the southern region. Experts would also rush over to take them in as disciples. After all, to be able to find a divine ability among these imprints and combine it, one could imagine one's talent. Why didn't he touch me? Tai Baokai raised his large round head. Su Yin was also shocked. The mysterious expert walked forward and touched Yi Yuan's head. Yi Yuan immediately understood. His body glowed like the rosy clouds of the morning sun. His body was like a rising red sun that contained a majestic aura of vitality. You guys have also come. Yi Yuan was pleasantly surprised after waking up. The three of them stood together and could not help but sigh. It had been more than a year. It was really not easy. Follow him quickly. The three of them followed closely behind the mysterious man. Once again, he stepped on a brand. This brand was somewhat astonishing. The dense pattern diagram it revealed was like a natural diagram of the great Tao that contained an astonishing charm. Yi Yuan seemed to understand, but not fully. It was difficult for him to understand. Tai Baokai and Su Yan's bodies glowed. They were sacred and dignified. This was the core inheritance. The natural diagram of the great Tao seemed to be imprinted in their consciousness. Yi Yuan discovered that Su Yin seemed to have disappeared into thin air, but he was still here. Whoa! Su Yan's body was resplendent. His entire body was densely covered with dense patterns. A vague diagram appeared behind him. It was like a diagram of the great Tao that was about to merge into one with the void. Suddenly, Su Yin discovered that he seemed to be traveling in the void and had become one with the void. A secret void technique? Yi Yuan was astonished. This secret technique was extremely wondrous. With Su Yan's current cultivation, it was impossible for him to touch the void. However, he had borrowed the power of the diagram of the great Tao to achieve this. This was a power manifested through the combination of layers of laws. Su Yin was pleasantly surprised. This secret technique was too astonishing. Moreover, he felt that this was only the tip of the iceberg. The true inheritance had yet to appear. Look, the expressions of those at the foot of the mountain changed drastically. The first thing they saw was a shadow striding towards the peak. The foot of the mountain was in an uproar. Another person had climbed up. Su Yan's body contained divine energy that had awakened. His entire body was flowing with golden light. He was like a golden deity bearing the immense pressure of Mount Barbaric as he ascended to the peak. Tai Baokai also rushed up. Its powerful body was like a barbaric dragon as it charged towards the peak. Yi Yuan was somewhat strained, but the inheritance he had just comprehended had awakened. His entire body was like a red sun that gradually rose into the sky and swooped down towards the peak. Unbelievable! Will they open the temple? The foot of the mountain was completely silent. For cultivators had rushed to the peak in succession and broken a terrifying record. This was something that had never happened before. How'd they do it? Countless messages were sent out. Mount Barbaric's peak was a place where even great characters couldn't forcefully enter. However, today, for people had rushed to the peak in succession. This would definitely cause a sensation on planet Alcade. It wasn't that no one had gone to Mountain Peak before, but the temple at the peak was the most important. Boom! Stepping onto the peak, Su Yin and the other two almost fell paralyzed to the ground. They heard the sound of the great Tao again and again. It was like thunder from the 9 heavens that shook their hearts. It contained an incomparable power of the great Tao that wanted to disintegrate their souls. This was the power of the great Tao. It was very terrifying and could easily disperse them. Su Yin only felt that from all directions, there was a vast and mighty power of destruction that filled the heavens and the earth. He was like a small boat that was sailing on the undulating surface of the sea and could be crushed into ashes at any time. They were horrified. This place was too dangerous. The slightest carelessness could lead to death. When Su Yin raised his head, they saw a dazzling divine radiance that was emitted by an ancient temple. The temple wasn't big and was completely golden. It was filled with a primitive atmosphere and scattered golden divine radiance that illuminated the heavens and the earth. For a moment, the peak of Mount Barbaric was sacred and solemn. The sound of the great Tao rumbled as if a vast sea of the great Tao was undulating here. Su Yin and the other two were in high spirits. They didn't encounter any danger. Instead, under the illumination of the great Tao, their bodies were translucent. The original flaws in their bodies were all revealed under the illumination of the great Tao. Buzz! Su Yin soared into the sky and sat cross-legged high in the sky. However, under the illumination of the great Tao, his body was tattered and incomplete. It was like an incomplete universe that was filled with the aura of calamity. Chapter 201. Although the divine palace wasn't big, it was very majestic. Morning light sprinkled down on its own and contained a rain of light from the great Tao. The rain of light condensed from the great Tao's essence curled up with auspicious multicolored light and contained other secret forces. If a cultivator was illuminated by the light of the great Tao, then the flaws of their body would automatically appear. Wong! For a moment, the blood essence within their bodies surged. Their bodies shone brilliantly as they bathed in the light of the great Tao. All of them received a baptism. The divine treasures within their bodies opened up layer by layer and were perfected layer by layer. They were sparkling and full, and their divine energy blazed brilliantly. Yuan was pleasantly surprised. His battle prowess had increased by a level. This wasn't due to the increase of his realm, but rather the flaws left behind in the various great realms from the beginning of his cultivation. Now, they were being perfected. He couldn't help but sigh. This was the difference between him and those unrivaled geniuses. They had great powers backing them and had the guidance of the universe's experts. But they didn't. Now, under the illumination of the great Tao and the special power of the Savage Mountain, they actually returned. It was as if they were recultivating the various great secret realms. Their strength would definitely increase greatly. It was astonishing. What great fortune! Tai Baokai was amazed. Under normal circumstances, even with the guidance of the universe's experts, it was impossible to perfect the various great domains and climb to the peak. If Yingjie could really reach this step, then he had the capital to contend for hegemony over the world. This kind of person was too terrifying. He was at the peak of various great domains and was very difficult to defeat. Usually, this kind of person was favored by the heavens. They had a supreme body or cultivated exceptional scriptures. Of course, in some eras, there was no lack of nameless youngsters who stepped onto the peak of legends. This kind of person stood at the peak and was enough to look down on the great world. What supreme body? Thus, he opened up a type of sovereign physique. Tai Baokai and Yuan's aura increased. In the next moment, they were attracted by the blazing fluctuations of the heavenly sun. They looked into the distance and were shocked when they saw Su Yan. Under the illumination of the great Tao, Su Yan's body recovered and climbed to the peak. His divine body erupted, and for a moment, his divine might was awe-inspiring. The blood essence within his body flowed in all directions and passed through his limbs and bones to repair the flaws in his body. Layers of flaws were automatically healed. The most terrifying manifestation was that Su Yan's aura rose into the sky, and the divine power contained within it gradually grew stronger. It was just that at this moment, when Su Yan's aura was at its peak, his damaged body was like divine iron, invincible. It was very difficult to break through this barrier. All the flaws were perfectly combined together. Boom! However, under the illumination of the light rain of the great Tao, Su Yan's body involuntarily emanated a might that was respected by the world. Su Yan was like a natural-born exalt. This sort of terrifying aura was like a gushing ocean, and it automatically revealed the terrifying phenomenon of a sea of chaos. It was about to suppress the 9 heavens and 10 earths. It was just that Su Yan was unable to unleash this kind of power. Just now, under the manifestation of the light rain of the great path, Su Yan stood in his perfect state and released this kind of power. Bao Kai, what's going on? Yuan's expression did not look good. Su Yan's body seemed to have many flaws, and it was filled with the aura of calamity. Tai Bao Kai was silent. It had once speculated that Su Yan had the innumerable tribulations physique, a physique that was filled with calamities. However, it did not feel like it. This was because the innumerable tribulations physique could not be cultivated and was plagued with calamities. However, Su Yan could, and his physique had even evolved into a divine physique. This shocked Tai Bao Kai. Could it be related to the scripture that Su Yan cultivated, or was it related to Earth? Su Yan's eyes suddenly opened. His eyes were full of amazement. Just now, it was as if his aura had pierced through the heavens. He discovered that his body hid a terrifying potential that was very difficult to unearth. This was a kind of potential that belonged to his physique. Innumerable tribulations physique. Su Yan and Tai Bao Kai talked for a while. He was bewildered and revealed the secret of the evolution of his physique. Tai Bao Kai was somewhat incredulous. It was speechless. According to what you said, you might be able to evolve into a sovereign physique in the future. That would be terrifying. However, this was too difficult. Su Yan had refined half a drop of origin treasure liquid before he could barely be considered a divine physique. The value of the origin treasure liquid made Su Yan bitterly smile. It was difficult for even a super force to obtain a large amount of it. If it is perfected, will your 10,000 galloping horses continue to strengthen? Yuan asked the key question. Hearing this, Su Yan shook his head. Actually, it is the power of my physique. It is not the power of my physical body. An innate king physique has a physique divine treasury, so it cannot be said that it is purely the power of my physical body. Yuan nodded. Indeed, once his king physique divine treasury was awakened, his physical strength would soar. However, this was not the power of his physical body's origin. It seems that as long as one can ascend the Savage Mountain, they will receive the baptism of the great Tao. At this moment, the vision emitted by the shrine gradually dissipated, revealing the true appearance of the mountain peak. It was like a land of the great Tao born from the universe. The road leading to the shrine was like a golden avenue. Tao runes appeared on the golden avenue. These were the heavenly marks of the great Tao, dazzling and resplendent. Each Tao rune contained an unparalleled power. This was considered a core inheritance. Great Tao heavenly scars were everywhere, and each of them was a type of supreme imprint. Tai Bao Kai stepped on one of the marks. His entire body trembled as if he had been struck by lightning. He was struck by the power of the mark. His flesh was split open, and he was sent flying, almost exploding. Mother Asterisk Cur, this is not a place we can come to. Our realms are not high enough to comprehend the great Tao. Otherwise, we will be shaken to death. Tai Bao Kai crawled up. His injuries were not serious. This was an inheritance land, not a land of slaughter. Su Yan saw some withered bones on the mountain peak. His face paled. Some people comprehended the great Tao, but they slowly died of old age. He could see some of the bones. There was a lustrous jade flowing through them, and faint Tao marks were interwoven on them. Take a look, Su Yan said solemnly. These bones are about to give birth to Tao runes. They should be great experts like Go Peng, but they slowly died of old age while comprehending the great Tao. Yuan was shocked. It was clear that comprehending the great Tao was too difficult. Moreover, those who could climb Savage Mountain were all incredible existences, but they could not comprehend the great Tao. Su Yin could not help but feel how terrifying Shui Guan was. All of a sudden, the mysterious man moved. It was as if he had transformed into an ancient god. He walked step by step on the Tao runes. His speed is too fast. Big brother, wait for us, Tai Baokai exclaimed. He hoped that the mysterious man would impart them divine abilities like before. However, the mysterious man's speed was very fast. He took over 100 steps in succession. Gradually, his aura became more ferocious. He took one step after another, and each step seemed to cross time and space. After taking over 100 steps, he approached the golden shrine. He stopped, and his robes fluttered. Behind him, a brilliant light of the great Tao erupted, accompanied by the sound of the great Tao. Over 100 runes burned and shot out a brilliant light that illuminated the void. It actually transformed into a huge great Tao diagram that was filled with a vast space-time aura. Su Yin and Tai Baotsai's pupils froze as they stared at the great Tao diagram. Shrinking Earth into an inch. They were so excited that their bodies trembled. This was the great divine ability, shrinking Earth into an inch. Now, this complete secret technique had appeared in space and transformed into a diagram of the Grand Tao. It was suffused with the aura of time and space that was vast like an abyss, and it interweaved with profound marks of the Tao. It was about to be branded between Su Yin and Tai Baotsai's brows. Yuan also observed it, but it was too complicated. He did not obtain the foundational chapter. Only experts could comprehend this secret technique. Just as Yuan was smiling bitterly, the mysterious man moved again. He returned from the shrine and stepped on another Tao rune that was scattered between heaven and earth. One rune after another was stepped on by him. Could it be that there are many great divine abilities hidden here? Yuan was scared. This was a little terrifying. As the mysterious man stepped on a set of runes, it transformed into a huge great Tao diagram. It was like an ancient sun that was about to open up the universe and shatter all Taos. Yuan was instantly attracted. He was immersed in the great Tao diagram to comprehend this great divine ability. Su Yin and the other two were all comprehending the great divine ability secret technique. However, the mysterious man stepped on it again, one step after another. His speed was very fast, and every time he finished a set of runes, his originally empty eyes would gain some vigor. His speed became faster and faster, and the entire mountain peak was filled with his afterimages. Wong. When he finished stepping on all the runes, these runes were burning. It was like a profound and complicated code that opened some kind of seal. Rumble. The aura of these runes blended together and formed a vast universe. It was filled with a barbaric atmosphere and primitive aura. It was like a condensed ancient universe that was filled with a terrifying heavenly aura. The mysterious man raised his head and roared. His messy hair danced in the wind. He opened his mouth and swallowed the shadow that was the combination of all the imprints in one gulp. At this moment, his aura was terrifying to the extreme. Surging ripples spread out from his corporeal body, as if a universe was awakening here. As the golden divine palace rumbled, a door that had been sealed for endless years suddenly opened. For a time, divine light rushed into the heavens, and the celestial sound of the great Tao rumbled. Unbelievable, they opened the temple. At the foot of the mountain, countless people were watching. A ray of light from the savage mountain illuminated the sky. Accompanied by the celestial sound of the great Tao, millions of rays of auspicious light surged. The savage mountain was sacred to the extreme. What a huge vision! Looking at the position of the light, it seems to be in the southern region. Let's go and take a look. Something big must have happened. All the important figures of Alcade Planet were shocked by the aura of the southern region. For a time, the void arrays of the various ancient cities were activated and began to cross to the southern region. For a time, the southern region became the focus of attention. Even some of the old farts hiding in Alcade City crossed to the southern region. What? For people climbed to the top and opened the temple. The Golden Dragon King was shocked when he heard this. When he noticed the resplendent figure crossing over from afar, his eyes turned cold. The Alcade Palace Master had arrived. I just happened to be lacking a few disciples. The Alcade Palace Master's words silenced the savage mountain. The Golden Dragon King sneered. These are the geniuses of the southern region. What does he have to do with your Alcade Palace Master? My Mizar Palace Master's research on the physical body is at the peak of the Big Dipper Star region. The Mizar Palace Master also crossed over. The meaning behind his words was very clear. Those who could climb the Savage Mountain were all geniuses in the physical body domain. Even the important figures of the Shue family rushed over and said, "If a human genius climbs the Savage Mountain, he will accompany the champion of my family to conquer the world and expand our territory. In the future, there will be a place for him among the valiant generals under my command." The surrounding creatures were flabbergasted. In the past, whenever a genius climbed the Savage Mountain, they would be taken in as a disciple by the powerful figures of the various factions. One must know that the stronger one's cultivation was, the harder it was to climb the mountain peak. This was because the test was too shocking. As for those who had comprehended the Great Tao, they simply couldn't climb the Savage Mountain. They would be suppressed by the Savage Mountain. Now that 4 cultivators had climbed the Savage Mountain, some important figures were arguing here. The powerful figures wanted to take in disciples. Chapter 202. The Savage Mountain was in an uproar, causing all living beings to be flabbergasted. Hall Master Yao Guang and the others were arguing until their faces and ears were red. They hadn't even seen anyone yet, but they had already decided on a disciple. After all, the opening of the Divine Hall was a huge news that shocked the entire Big Dipper Starfield. The news hadn't spread yet, so Hall Master Yao Guang and the others wanted to be the first to accept a disciple. If they succeeded, not only would they obtain a disciple with unparalleled talent, but they would also be able to understand the secrets of the Divine Hall. Some old monsters rushed over and almost started fighting. This made them stare with wide eyes. Someone cursed, "Comparisons are odious. Our clan's geniuses are trying to find a way to take a big shot as their master. But now they are all fighting to accept a disciple." The Divine Hall of the Savage Mountain has already opened. I wonder what secrets are hidden inside. These big shots are also very curious. The surrounding people were discussing in low voices. The big shots were all fighting to accept a disciple, especially the Shue family's big shot, Shue Hongyi, who was an extraordinary existence. Previously, he was still chasing after Su Yan, but after half a month, he didn't even catch a glimpse of Su Yan's shadow. Shue Hongyi's lifespan was very long, exceeding 5,000 years. However, the vitality in his body was boundless. It was highly suspected that he had refined a medicine king. He said indifferently, "Fellow Taoists, my Shue family must accept a human genius. In the future, he will be able to compete with my clan's champion for hegemony." Although Shue Guan was trapped in Alcade City, the Shue family status was still very high. It was possible that Shue Guan would be able to comprehend a great Tao and become a big shot in one step. Every clan was afraid of the Shue family. On the surface, they didn't want to become enemies with the Shue family. Shue Hongyi was clear that Shue Guan had come to the Savage Mountain before. He speculated that there might be more than one great divine ability hidden in the Savage Mountain. If he could understand the secrets of the Divine Hall, it would be a great opportunity. The Golden Dragon King and the others weren't willing to be outdone. They said that they would accept any suitable disciple. Haha, it seems like I'm not too late. The aura emitted from this place was suffocating, as if a vast ocean had drowned out the heavens. The stars in the sky were rising and falling, trembling along with this strand of might that crossed over. It was an old man in a violet robe. He wore a 7-starred robe, and his life force was vast and boundless. He was like an enormous dragon in hibernation, and as soon as he arrived, he emitted a powerful aura that caused the nearby living beings to tremble in fear. Although the mighty figures were suppressed to the primordial realm, They were powerful experts. Their bodies were suffused with the charms of the great Tao. They could easily produce overwhelming might. Elder Jean, Palace Master Yao Guang, and the others didn't dare to be arrogant and hurriedly paid their respects. The supreme elder of the Big Dipper Palace. The place was in an uproar. The person who had come was Han Jin, who had dominated the Big Dipper constellation for 10,000 years. He also had a divine physique, and his lifespan was longer than the average person's. In addition to his high status, he was at the top of the pyramid in the Big Dipper constellation. A few old fellows who were alone were jealous. Han Jin must have refined the Alchemy King, or he wouldn't have such vigorous blood essence fluctuations. However, no matter how terrifying the Alchemy King was, it couldn't extend Han Jin's lifespan by 1 or 2,000 years. At most, it could extend his lifespan by 500 years. After all, his lifespan was already very long, and his cultivation was unfathomable. However, with 500 years of lifespan, Han Jin might even be able to improve further. Han Jin's eyes flashed with surprise. Even someone as strong as him was suppressed by savage mountain strength, and could only use his physical combat strength. But even so, Han Jin's aura was comparable to a celestial dragon. His great Tao aura leaked out as he said with a smile, "I've always wanted to take in a disciple. I never expected an opportunity to come." Shui Hongyi and the others did not dare to refute. With Han Jin's prestige, there were not many in the entire Big Dipper starfield who could compete with him. Even Zhu Yu, the Star Lord of the Big Dipper Palace, was suppressed by him. Elder Jean, with you gone, I'm afraid some rascals will secretly target our race's champion. Shui Hongyi hurriedly went forward and said. Hearing this, Han Jin said coldly, Shuiguan is the Big Dipper constellation supreme. Who dares to target him? I believe no one will be tactful. Also, Shuiguan is our Big Dipper constellation palace's honored guest and has a close relationship with the young Stellar Lord. I dare not speak for others, but in the Big Dipper constellation, who dares to kill him under my nose? The younger generation was indignant, especially Little Dragon King, who had also rushed over. How could Han Jin call the Big Dipper constellation's young Stellar Lord? This made him very unhappy, especially when Han Jin said that he had a close relationship with the Big Dipper constellation fairy. He didn't see how they were close. However, from Han Jin's tone, it could be seen how high his status in the Big Dipper constellation palace was. Yao Guang Palace Master and company also knew that when Bamboo Moon met with an accident and disappeared for a long time, it was Han Jin who had been managing the Big Dipper constellation palace. Ah, Supreme Elder, since you've spoken, who dares to make a move? That's right. The Big Dipper constellation palace master is still too young. When necessary, you still need to take charge of a situation. Yao Guang Palace Master and Mizar Palace Master laughed loudly. The Golden Dragon King was a little surprised. The two palace masters of the Big Dipper constellation spoke in such a tone. It seemed like the Big Dipper constellation palace master had not been living well these years. As for the peak of the barbaric mountain, Su Yin and the other two had solemn expressions as they observed the Great Tao diagram. Time passed day by day. Tai Baokai had a splitting headache and gradually woke up. Its eyes were rippling with spatial ripples as it pondered over the inheritance it had just comprehended. Shrinking Earth into an inch was a great ability that was extremely difficult to comprehend. Moreover, they hadn't evolved the secret door of the ability. Although Su Yin had grasped a great ability, the Big Dipper Constellation Fist was a combination type after all, so it was relatively easy to comprehend. However, shrinking Earth into an inch was different. It involved the domain of space, so even a great figure would need a lot of time to comprehend it. Brat, give me one. Tai Baokai was anxious. It saw Su Yin take out a leaf with a hazy, holy radiance and stick it on his forehead. For a moment, Su Yan's primordial spirit seemed to have eaten a great tonic. The soul chi within it surged violently, and even its deduction ability began to skyrocket. There's only one left. Su Yin comprehended with all his might. Of the 3 sacred herb leaves, Su Yin had eaten 2, so there was only one left. Now, Su Yin had no choice but to use it. He didn't want to give up on this great fortune. The sacred herb leaf quickly turned yellow, but the sacred herb essence within it caused Su Yan's primordial spirit to increase by a large amount. It was like a small sun shining. Moreover, Su Yan comprehended a great Tao power within the sacred herb essence. This was a great Tao fragment that was nurtured within the sacred herb. Su Yan entered a selfless state. His body seemed to have transformed into a great Tao diagram as he comprehended the power of shrinking earth into an inch. Tai Baokai had no choice but to take out the great Tao pearl and borrow its power to comprehend. However, it didn't dare to use it too much. It was worried that it would have the same problem as Su Yan last time. Transforming one's body into the Tao was very serious. It's almost been a month. At the foot of the mountain, Hall Master Yao Guang and the others were still waiting here. The surrounding creatures were speechless. They had waited for an entire month just to accept a disciple? Or was it for the fortune of the Divine Hall? Shui Hongyi and the others were very patient. For the fortune of the Divine Hall, it was worth it to wait an entire month. Who knew? They might even be able to accept a few fine jades as disciples. An entire month had passed. Tai Baokai had awakened many times. It was very extraordinary and could faintly control the power of the void to cross a certain distance. This made Tai Baokai excited. In short, it had already memorized the cultivation method. When it stepped into the divine ability realm, it would be able to manifest shrinking earth into an inch. Stop showing off. Don't you leave some sacred herbs for me. Tai Baotsai's face darkened. Su Yan's speed was very fast as he circled around the mountain. His steps looked ordinary, but every step he took could cover a great distance. Buzz! Su Yan merged with the void, and his entire person disappeared. In the void, Su Yan sensed the profoundness and terror of the void. It was as if he had arrived in the universe, which made Su Yan feel a little suffocated. He used shrinking earth into an inch to cross the void. He had barely crossed a certain distance when he realized that the actual surface area had already crossed thousands of feet. Su Yan was pleasantly surprised. He estimated that ordinary Transcendence Realm cultivators would find it difficult to catch up to him. As long as he carefully sensed the power of the void, he would be able to cross the void for a very long time. This Tao diagram is about to collapse. Su Yan stopped trying. They had used the great Tao pearl to deduce, observe, and exchange experiences. He couldn't help but sigh at the wonders of the great Tao pearl. Now, the Tao diagram that the mysterious man had manifested was already starting to blur. Teacher, Yi Yuan hasn't awakened yet. Su Yan looked at Yi Yuan. The essence blood in his body was boiling, and his meridians were burning like red suns. He was cultivating and comprehending divine abilities. Yi Yuan's comprehension was very high. He had improved the Xingyi fist technique during Earth's doomsday and stepped onto the path of cultivating the corporeal body. In the future, Yi Yuan would definitely be able to stand at a very high realm. I estimate that it's a divine ability related to the corporeal body. Yi Yuan is very impressive. In the future, he will definitely be able to rush into the universe. Tai Baokai said, I'm afraid it will be very difficult for him to wake up in a short period of time. I wonder how many divine abilities are hidden at the peak of Savage Mountain? Su Yan patrolled this territory. There were many great Tao imprints on the ground. How many great divine abilities were hidden? If the inheritance of shrinking earth into an inch and Yi Yuan's comprehension was spread out, it would cause a reign of terror. He also felt that it was a pity. It was too difficult to comprehend great divine abilities. These supreme imprints were also scattered all over the place. It would be very difficult to gather them all. I estimate that even if Yaoguang Palace Master came here and sat there for 1,000 years, he might not be able to gather one or two. How many years does he have? 1,000 or 2,000 years have passed, and he has already missed the golden period of cultivation. Tai Baokai said, It can be seen how terrifying this mysterious person is. He is like a savage dragon. Boom! The savage mountain suddenly shook, and the tightly shut door of the temple suddenly opened. It opened, ha ha! Han Jin laughed continuously. He was the strongest here. He was the one with the most hope to understand the secrets of the Divine Palace. I wonder what kind of inheritance and opportunities are inside the legendary Divine Palace. There were many onlookers. Savage Mountain had existed for countless years. It was already known as a sacred place, a divine mountain, and a place of inheritance. Who didn't want to know the origin of Savage Mountain? Vast, auspicious clouds gushed out and sprinkled between heaven and earth. A savage aura emerged and rippled within Savage Mountain. The entire Savage Mountain seemed to have awakened. There was a breath of life, which shocked all the great figures. They felt that this was a supreme treasure. At the peak of the mountain, the immortal sound of the great Tao resounded. Auspicious clouds filled the sky, and golden lotuses of the great Tao took root. The strange phenomenon was especially shocking. It was as if a cultivator was gathering the clouds and ascending. He came out. He has aged a few years again. Under the shocked gazes of Su Yin and Tai Bao Kai, a tall man walked out. However, he seemed to have aged a few years again. He was now a man in his 30s. He raised his head and looked at the sky. His sharp eyes seemed to be able to pierce through the heavens and see the immortal sky. "Big brother, take care. We will send you off." Su Yin and Tai Bao Kai quickly chased after him. He left and walked down the mountain. Yi Yuan still stayed here to sort out what he had learned. Savage Mountain was very safe, so Su Yin was also relieved. They came down. Chapter 203. Fellow Taoists, don't fight with me for the first disciple. Han Jin said softly, looking determined to get it. Yao Guang and the others' faces darkened. Who would give up on the inheritance of a shrine? Why does he look so familiar? Little Dragon King was stunned. He saw a creature. Isn't that the Tai Bao Kai? He couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. If the ones who went up were Su Yin and Tai Bao Kai, wouldn't Yao Guang and the others vomit blood? They had been waiting here for a whole month. Little Dragon King's heart trembled. Once they went down the mountain, they would definitely be suppressed. Tai Bao Kai raised his round head. He was disdainful of Golden Dragon King's voice transmission. He arrogantly pricked up his big ears, looking as if he had a back or two. This bunch of old things actually came. Su Yin sneered in his heart. Yao Guang and the others were terrifying, but no matter how strong they were, they couldn't ascend Savage Mountain and open the shrine. However, the mysterious man was very calm along the way. He even fought his way into the shrine. Yao Guang and the others definitely couldn't compare with him. He was definitely an expert in the universe. What's going on? Why do I feel killing intent? At the foot of Savage Mountain, there were too many spectators, too many to count. However, the spectating cultivators all felt a chill run down their spines. They could feel a bone-piercing chill spreading through this place. Some people felt that something was wrong. Yao Guang, Mizar, and Xue Hongyi. The three big shots had a sinister look on their faces. They clenched their fists, and their eyes were filled with cold, killing intent. What kind of experts were they? They could see Su Yan's true colors at a glance. It was this person who kicked Princess Yao Guang to death, almost killed Xuelong, and made Mizar lose face. But now, these big shots were entrenched here. They were even arguing and fighting to take in a disciple. However, the disciple was actually Su Yin. Bastard. Xue Hongyi was so angry that his eyeballs almost popped out of their sockets. He was so angry that his whole body trembled. Yao Guang Palace Master's face turned green. He didn't think that it would be Su Yin and Tai Bao Kai who climbed to the summit. This made it very hard for them to believe. "I'll chop you into pieces, you evil creature." Xue Hongyi did not hold back and directly attacked. The aura of the Great Path surged out. The strength of his physical body alone was enough to shatter the void. His combat strength was unparalleled. "Wait," Xue Hongyi frowned. His words contained an irresistible power, which caused Xue Hongyi's expression to change. He said, "Elder Jin, this person is Su Yin. He must be killed as a warning to others." "What? So he is Su Yin?" The surroundings were in an uproar. They had heard of Su Yan's great name long ago, but they didn't expect that they would actually come to the Savage Mountain and cause such a huge commotion. They even made Hall Master Yao Guang and the others wait here for more than a month. These creatures all sucked in a cold breath of air. This was just too much of a slap to their faces, making Alcade Palace Master and the others feel unbearable. No rush, no rush. Han Jin laughed heartily. He wore the 7 stars robe and had an astonishing might. His torch-like pupils stared at Su Yin and said, "Little guy, what did you encounter in the Divine Palace? Tell me." "Why should I tell you?" Su Yin was just about to speak when Tai Baokai spoke first. He cast a sidelong glance at Han Jin and said in a disdainful manner, "Why should I tell you?" Han Jin laughed instead of being angry. "Because I am the Supreme Elder of the Big Dipper Palace Hall. If you tell me the secret of the Divine Palace, I can spare your lives. What will happen if we don't tell you?" Tai Baokai asked again. He looked like he was asking for a beating. "Very simple. I won't kill you. I will make you stay in the Savage Mountain for the rest of your lives and turn you into bones." Han Jin's casual words sent chills down the spines of everyone present. This was too ruthless. He might as well kill them directly. If they were trapped here, it would be equivalent to slowly waiting for death. "You old bastard, you are too vicious." Tai Baokai raised his head and said angrily, "You even dare to kill the beast deity. You have no respect for the law. You even dare to cause trouble here. Don't you know whose territory this is?" Han Jin's face slowly turned gloomy. He was a top-notch expert who could move unhindered in the Big Dipper Star region. How could he be scolded by a wild beast here? "Old Jin, I think we should just kill them." Shui Hongi couldn't hold it in anymore. His eyes were filled with killing intent as he said coldly, "What do you think about searching their memories and digging out the secrets of the Divine Palace? You old bastard. Let me tell you, we will open the Divine Palace and obtain the protection of the Master of the Divine Palace. If you dare to stay here, you will definitely be struck to death." Tai Baotsai's spittle flew everywhere. He looked like he had a backer. His words woke everyone up. Hall Master Yao Guang and the others had almost forgotten that Su Yin and the others must have something to rely on if they dare to come down. Could the Savage Mountain really be so evil? Could it protect them? "You're talking nonsense." Hall Master Yao Guang glared angrily, but he didn't dare to make a move. He immediately shouted, "Men, take them down and imprison them." "Yes, Hall Master." 2 legacy disciples rushed out from Hall Master Yao Guang and rushed toward Su Yin and Tai Baokai. Their auras were very shocking. Even in the Savage Mountain, where the secret divine arts were suppressed, their physical combat strength was extremely tyrannical. "You 2 little things dare to be disrespectful to this beast deity?" Tai Baokai was very arrogant and had an extraordinary aura. He waved his big paw and said, "Go, take this little friend down for this beast deity. He dares to use force in the sacred ground of the Savage Mountain. This is blasphemy to the opponent's deity. Bastard, I will tear you apart." The 2 legacy disciples were furious. Their eyes were red as they rushed up with murderous intent, wanting to tear Tai Baotsai's mouth apart. "What are you pretending for? You even mobilized this daddy." Su Yin was very helpless. Tai Baokai relied on the mysterious man overseeing this place to shout and shout. "Su Yin, you even dared to kill Princess Yao Guang. Obediently go back and ask for punishment." The 2 legacy disciples of Hall Master Yao Guang forced their way over. Their auras were powerful, and the power of the stars emerged. Su Yin raised his palm and slashed forward. His bare hands split the air, and his physical strength was like a true dragon. Under the horrified gazes of the surrounding people, this palm was too tyrannical. It suppressed the vast sky and concealed the auras of the 2 legacy disciples of Hall Master Yao Guang. "Ah!" The 2 legacy disciples screamed miserably. This slap was like being struck by lightning. The bones in their bodies were broken, and they were ruthlessly slapped to the ground by Su Yin. They struggled in unspeakable pain. The surrounding creatures were all dumbfounded. It was as if they had seen a true dragon take action. In a short while, the 2 legacy disciples were slapped to the point of death. What a strong physical body. This little guy's physical body is tougher than the average divine weapon. The Golden Dragon King was secretly shocked. This Su Yin was not only a strange man, but his physical body was also comparable to divine weapons. His combat strength was astonishing, and he was definitely not someone to be trifled with. The two legacy disciples spat out blood because Tai Baokai sat on their buttocks. Their bones were breaking, and their eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. Their hearts and lungs were about to explode from anger. After all, they were two legacy disciples at the peak of the transcendent realm. Unfortunately, their combat strength was greatly suppressed, and their physical bodies were not as strong as Su Yan's. Two pieces of trash dare to show off here. Tai Baokai grinned and said, "And you old fogies, if you're not convinced, come at me. Today, I'll teach you who's the king of the Savage Mountain." Han Jin and the others' faces were cold, but they did not dare to act rashly. The more Tai Baokai acted like this, the more they were afraid. Maybe he really had something to rely on. For a moment, heaven and earth were silent, and the atmosphere was somewhat cold. Su Yan looked at the mysterious man, wondering if he would make a move. He seemed very quiet, like a tall mountain, standing there without saying a word. "Old thing, what are you looking at? The Almighty's inheritance will be mine sooner or later." Tai Baokai was anxious. Seeing that they were not making a move, he immediately said in disdain, "Little Shui Guan doesn't even have a sovereign physique, and he dares to use the title of Big Dipper Sovereign? Who gave him the courage? And your Big Dipper Palace still has the face to be friends with Shui Guan? You've lost all the face of your ancestors." Han Jin's face suddenly changed, and his eyes emitted a terrifying killing intent. Even the stars in the outer realm were trembling. "I'm going to die from anger." Shui Hongi finally could not hold back. His aura spread out, and his blood essence surged like a divine furnace burning. After all, he was a mighty lord, and his aura was terrifying. His entire body surged with monstrous killing intent that swept across all directions. Boom! This was a huge palm, like the clouds in the sky. It came down just like that, containing the light of destruction. The huge palm covered the sky, intertwined with the aura of the great Tao, and spread out vigorous blood essence fluctuations. When it came down, the world trembled with the sound of thunder from the nine heavens, and even the bodies of Dharma characteristic realm cultivators showed signs of disintegrating. Tai Baokai was scared out of his wits, and he jumped up and ran. This scene made Shui Hongi overjoyed. In an instant, his palm came up and pressed down on Tai Baokai. Tai Baokai and Su Yan hurriedly hid behind a mysterious man. This scene made the surrounding people surprised. What was going on? Could it be that they were relying on this person? Yaoguang Palace Master's eyes suddenly shrank. He vaguely felt that this person was somewhat familiar. Dong! When the palm came down on the tall man, his hair fluttered. For a moment, his aura was as majestic as a huge mountain, emitting a barbaric aura. Shui Hongi's power was blocked. "So you have an expert protecting you. But in this place, who can protect you?" Shui Hongi was pleasantly surprised. He finally understood that their trump card had nothing to do with Savage Mountain. His palm became even more domineering, intertwining with the great Tao's heavenly marks. It shattered the void as it pressed down on the mysterious man, bringing with it a killing intent that wanted to pulverize his body. Chi, the disheveled man, finally moved. His eyes were as deep as the starry sky, emitting light. A large great Tao's heavenly mark appeared beneath his feet. The moment he stepped out, he shrank the earth into inches, bringing Su Yan and Tai Baokai away from Savage Mountain. Shrinking the earth into inches. This scene made Yaoguang Palace Master and company's expressions change drastically. They recalled the delirious expert that appeared in Brilliant City in the past, and were suddenly enlightened. No wonder he looked so familiar. "So it's you." Shui Hongi was also pleasantly surprised. "It looks like our race's champion will have another amazing ability." Ha ha ha. Shui Hongi waved his palm and opened it. Tai Baokai jumped up in excitement. "Old thing, I was afraid you wouldn't make a move." Shui Hongi directly chased after him. The power of his sacrifice surged several times over. After all, he had left Savage Mountain. The suppressed energy within his body erupted, wildly rushing towards the mysterious man. Killing intent billowed between the heavens and earth. The power of the great Tao blotted out the skies and turned into a palm. It wanted to suppress the mysterious man and seize his supernatural ability. Bang! Chapter 204. What is the background of this expert? The cultivators who rushed up felt a chill from head to toe. The sky had been torn apart. The mysterious man's aura was peerlessly terrifying. His originally empty eyes emitted a ray of light that caused the void to tremble. What a powerful aura! Has he already comprehended the primal chaos? Xuehongyi's old face was also solemn. He could feel the mysterious man's power at such a close distance. It was as if there was a huge, wild dragon hibernating in his body that was awakening. The sky couldn't bear it and started to split apart. Old brat, you can't do it. Scram! Tai Baokai saw that the mysterious man still hadn't made his move and angered Xuehongyi once again. The mysterious man looked as if he didn't want to cause trouble. Tao marks appeared under his feet again as he wanted to distort the space. This was the earth shrinking divine ability. You want to leave this place? Tao friend, these two people have a grudge with my Xue family. Take your time. It won't be too late to leave after you explain everything clearly. Xuehongyi's eyes flashed with cold light. He also became bolder and summoned an ancient pagoda. The pagoda's body was intertwined with Tao marks, and the atmosphere of the great Tao gushed out from within. This was a Tao divine weapon that was blazing and resplendent. The moment the ancient pagoda fully awakened, it surged with a soaring aura and covered a radius of 10,000 miles in an instant. It even confined the space to prevent the mysterious man from escaping. Su Yin and Tai Baokai were pleasantly surprised. They were afraid that this old bastard would give up. If they could kill a big shot, it would definitely intimidate some of the old monsters that were secretly eyeing them. Rumble! Xuehongyi's aura was extremely ferocious. The Tao divine weapon in his grasp smashed down with a loud bang. He wanted to test the mysterious man's battle prowess and dig out the secrets of the divine palace. Perhaps he could obtain the earth-shrinking divine ability. Chi, the mysterious man, turned his head again. However, his deep eyes were vertical and flowed with a ray of killing light. It was like a heavenly blade that overflowed as snow and illuminated the broken sky. It was an extremely shocking scene. His eyes were about to crack open. The stars in the sky contained unimaginable divine might. Just as the ancient pagoda was about to press down on him, the mysterious man raised his arm and pointed with a finger. The heaven and earth trembled, and the sun and moon lost their light. Strands of grand aura rippled out, as if they were propping open the starry sky. Boom! A terrifying crack appeared in the void. This finger was so domineering that it seemed like it could crush the starry sky. It directly pierced through the ancient pagoda. Yao Guanghao Master and the others felt a chill run down their spines. They saw the ancient pagoda wailing and the pagoda body trembling. The intertwining Tao marks on the pagoda body were all obliterated by this finger. Immediately after, the ancient pagoda began to crack and finally exploded in the void. Both of the little dragon king's legs went soft. This was too tyrannical. What kind of terrifying corporeal body was this? He was able to shatter a Tao divine weapon in an instant. Could it be that his corporeal body was even tougher than a Tao divine weapon? Pooh! Xuehongyi coughed out a mouthful of blood. His complexion was deathly pale. His life treasure had been destroyed, and his aura was weak. His body was cracking apart, showing signs of exploding. Xuehongyi turned around and left without saying a word. The surrounding people looked as if they had seen a ghost. How terrifying was this mysterious man? Xuehongyi was so intimidated that he didn't even dare to fart. Old fart, do you think you can leave? Su Yin sneered. Immediately after, the mysterious man's attitude made everyone's hair stand on end. Xuehongyi did leave, but could he leave? Buzz! Everyone saw that the mysterious man was still calm, but when he stretched his palm forward, a huge palm appeared between heaven and earth. It was vast and boundless, as if it covered a corner of the universe. There was no divine light, no divine ability aura, and no strange phenomenon. It was as if a giant's palm had smashed down, shattering the vast sky. When it descended, the power it revealed made the Transcendence realm cultivators fall limp to the ground. Even the little Dragon King couldn't withstand it and trembled all over under the incredulous gazes of the surrounding people. No matter how fast Xuehongyi was, he couldn't escape from this palm. Five-Finger Mountain. Su Yan thought of the Tathagata Buddha's hand and struck it. No matter how fast Xuehongyi was traversing the void, this palm still followed him forward. What a powerful divine ability. Tai Baokai was excited and said, "The control of time and space has reached perfection. This old fart is dead for sure. Dao brother, save me quickly. I am willing to repay you with a medicine king." Xuehongyi was scared out of his wits. He frantically traversed, but he still couldn't escape the range of this palm. It was like a world in the palm. The mysterious man opened up an invincible domain to suppress Xuehongyi and was about to crush him here. "Dao brother, please have mercy. Let's talk slowly." The Alcade Palace Master's entire body shone with divine light, resplendent and blazing. It was as if a purple sun was burning. Resplendent, immortal light emerged from his forehead. A pearl soared into the sky and erupted with the sound of the great Tao, resounding through heaven and earth. Han Jin and the rest took a few more glances at this mysterious pearl. This pearl was obtained by the Alcade Palace Master by chance. He studied it for hundreds of years, but couldn't find out its specific origin. However, this pearl was very powerful. It was a top-notch Tao weapon. Is the shrine really that important? The Alcade Palace Master and the rest are going to make a move. The Golden Dragon King was extremely alarmed. He saw that the Mizar Palace Master and the Golden Dragon King had also awakened. They took out their divine Tao weapons and wanted to help. After all, this mysterious expert's battle prowess was very astonishing. Who would want to offend him? However, because of the shrine, they all wanted to take a risk and give it a try. Buzz! The pearl was entirely gray. When it started to awaken, it actually surged with resplendent immortal light. Moreover, the great Tao law flowed out like the sea. It instantly crossed above Xuehongyi's head and suppressed Xuehongyi. It even blocked the power of the mysterious man's palm. Rumble! Xuehongyi thought that he had escaped danger. However, who knew that strands of murderous aura would spread out and simply sweep across the entire southern region. Everything was about to be sealed in ice. The Alcade Palace Master was somewhat regretful. He shouldn't have helped. This mysterious man was too strange. His origin should be very astonishing. Dao brother still wants to kill me? My Xue family is not that easy to bully. Xuehongyi's expression was unsightly. Rumble! The mysterious man didn't say a word. His eyes stared at the gray pearl. His palm continued to be terrifying. It erupted with thousands of rays of light that shot into the heavens and illuminated the starry sky. The aura it emitted was as if a giant dragon had awakened. It was extremely terrifying. What a terrifying aura! The entire southern region was shocked by this wisp of awakened aura. It was as if a savage, giant dragon had been awakened. It swept across the boundless region. For a moment, the mountains were trembling and were extremely close to collapsing. He is about to go crazy. Tai Baokai and Su Yan's expressions changed. They both had a tendency to explode. It was obvious that the mysterious man didn't hurt anyone. Otherwise, with his power alone, the people here would definitely be plunged into misery and suffering. They also wouldn't be able to withstand the mysterious man's murderous intent. Rumble! The mysterious man extended his palm and pressed down, suppressing the treasure that the Alcade Palace Master had taken out. What? The Alcade Palace Master's eyes widened in anger. He roared, "Dao brother, aren't you going too far? This is the Big Dipper Star region. Are you going to behave atrociously on the Alcade planet?" Just as Han Jin was about to speak, the gray pearl suddenly rumbled and floated in the mysterious man's hand. It was sonorous and resounding. Under the shocking gazes of the surrounding people, this pearl gradually revealed its true appearance. As it shook, layers of gray stone skin fell off, following which strands of blinding, immortal radiance seeped out. It was so dazzling that one's eyeballs were about to bleed. A rare treasure. Tai Baokai screamed. The Alcade Palace Master's expression turned ugly. The value of this pearl might very well surpass that of a Tao Divine weapon. The commotion caused by its awakening was extremely shocking. The resplendent, immortal radiance illuminated the starry sky. It was as if a great Tao immortal sun was burning fiercely and illuminating the entire southern region. Even the entire Alcade planet was shocked by the light from the awakening of the immortal pearl. Rumble! The immortal pearl was burning fiercely and became more and more terrifying. It spewed out a sea of great Tao immortal marks and shook the great stars in the outer region. Wong! In the Cosmos Business Alliance, in Zi Xioning's residence, the black-robed man walked out and took out a void mirror. This mirror was made of void stone. It projected light into the void and reflected some of the scenes in the southern region onto the mirror. Zi Xioning was moved. She suddenly stood up and said in shock, "Unbelievable! This great Tao immortal pearl actually appeared in the Big Dipper Star region." According to ancient legends, when 36 great Tao immortal pearls are put together, they can be called an invincible immortal weapon. It is said that this is a set of treasures from the peak of the burial region. It has long been taken away by the major clans. There should be a few left outside. The black-robed man gasped. He said, "Miss, each of the 36 great Tao immortal pearls is shocking. More than 100 years ago, a group of people came to the burial region and forcefully opened the star tomb. The great Tao immortal pearl appeared, but its whereabouts are unknown. It is probably lost in the Big Dipper Star region." Hearing this, Zi Xioning licked her bright red lips. She said, "With your battle strength, can you take the great Tao immortal pearl?" Hearing this, the black-robed man shook his head. "It's hard to say. This person is a little strange. I feel a very frightening aura of time. He must have lived for a very long time, like a wild dragon. He makes me tremble." Zi Xioning's expression changed. The black-robed man was a top expert in the Cosmos Business Alliance. He was not inferior to Bamboo Moon, but even he found it difficult to deal with this mysterious man. The great Tao immortal pearl floated above the mysterious man's head, rumbling as it spun. The mysterious man's eyes stared at the great Tao immortal pearl. This great Tao immortal pearl was wailing, transmitting images one after another. They were branded in the void, and each image depicted the withering of a great era. Tai Baokai was shocked. The mysterious man saw some images and memories in the great Tao immortal pearl. Could his origin be related to the great Tao immortal pearl? He found some things he wanted to know in the great Tao immortal pearl. Hand over the treasure immediately. Otherwise, don't blame the Big Dipper bloodline for oppressing you. Mizar Hall Master, Han Tong. The three experts were closing in. They took out 3 major weapons and pressed down on the mysterious man. Boom! Suddenly, the mysterious man's hair danced wildly. His entire body surged with an even more frightening light. Strands of extremely frightening, killing intent seeped out of his body. The sky and the ground were blurred. Only he was like a wild dragon, filled with shocking, killing intent. Impossible! He threw his head back and let out a long howl that shook the heavens. The entire southern domain was shaking, and countless mountains were rumbling. Chapter 205. Hall Master Yao Guang and the others were frightened. Shui Hongyi had been roared to death here. He was a great figure from the Shui family who had comprehended the great Tao and was considered a top expert in the Big Dipper starfield. Yet he couldn't even withstand a single blow and was roared to death under the starry sky, completely annihilated. The mysterious man roared towards the sky, sweeping through the mountains and rivers and shaking the entire southern region. It was as if an invincible giant had gone mad here. But the moment his aura awakened, the entire sky changed color. For a moment, it was pitch black like ink and emitted a world-burning aura. The entire southern region was about to collapse as many people prostrated themselves on the ground, trembling. All of this was too sudden. The world-destroying heavenly punishment was brewing. Above the pitch-black sky, countless bolts of lightning appeared, containing the supreme power of the great Tao. These were bolts of lightning that originated from the universe, and they struck towards the mysterious man. It was an intimidating scene. It was as if millions of bolts of lightning were striking down, tearing apart the void and containing a world-destroying aura. These bolts of lightning were as thick as mountain ridges, causing the starry sky of Alcade Planet to sink. Bang! The sudden scene caused millions of bolts of lightning to strike the mysterious man's body, giving rise to a monstrous storm. The entire southern region was trembling, and this vast region seemed to be on the verge of sinking. What's going on? Su Yin and Tai Baotsai's expressions changed. They were extremely nervous because the scene just now was too terrifying and sudden. It even left quickly, and the world regained its tranquility. Bang! The mysterious man fell from the broken void. He was actually still alive and was holding his head as he roared in pain. His corporeal body began to crack and was about to shatter. Great Tao injuries. Could it be that the Great Tao lightning tribulation descended just now? I feel like it's some kind of curse. Hall Master Yao Guang and the others' pupils suddenly constricted. They discovered that the mysterious man's corporeal body was in tatters, and there were serious Great Tao injuries in his body. He had suffered the Great Tao's blessing and seemed to have done something heaven-defying. The scene just now was unforgettable. Who could endure it? But it actually wasn't able to kill the mysterious man. This was enough to shock the great figures. Not good, let's go. Tai Baokai jumped in fright as he saw the mysterious man's body split apart, about to disintegrate at any moment. Su Yin hurriedly carried the mysterious man. He used shrinking earth into an inch, wanting to become one with the void and traverse through the void. After traversing through the void for a while, Han Jin's aura suppressed the void. He was wearing the 7-star robe, looking majestic and awe-inspiring. His entire body was filled with the fluctuation of a starry sky dragon. Han Jin, you better think this through. My sect is very powerful. Be careful that you don't get into big trouble. Su Yin shouted sternly. He hadn't expected such a thing to happen. The mysterious man had been targeted by the Great Tao and had almost been refined to death. Hearing this, Han Jin smiled lightly and said, "His injuries are very serious. He needs me to heal him." That old bastard. Tai Baotsai's hair stood on end. He saw Han Jin's intention. He wanted to steal the mysterious man's fruit of the way, and even the Great Tao Immortal Pearl. In the mysterious man's current state, it would be difficult for him to continue fighting. Han Jin was worried that an accident would happen. He stretched out a hand, wanting to grab the mysterious man and bring him back to the Big Dipper Palace to be suppressed. Han Jin wanted to take the mysterious man's fruit of the way and give it to his personal disciple, Han Tong. As long as Han Tong could become a great figure, he would definitely be qualified to compete with Bamboo Moon for the position of Lord of the Stars. Han Jin was the Grand Elder of the Big Dipper lineage, after all. Once he attacked, his palm was as deep as the starry sky, enveloping the three of them. He even used his other hand to attack, wanting to take the Great Tao Immortal Pearl. Kaboom! But the Great Tao Immortal Pearl awakened on its own, spewing out auspicious light and spreading out a sea of Great Tao Immortal marks. The vast aura of the Great Tao fell into the mysterious man's body. At this moment, the mysterious man's flesh shell glowed. The serious injury of the Great Tao was greatly mended. Under the influence of the Great Tao Immortal Pearl, the mysterious man's eyes regained their vigor. What? The Great Tao Immortal Pearl has such an effect. Han Jin's face was cold, and greed flashed in his eyes. His desire to take the Great Tao Immortal Pearl grew stronger. This item was extraordinary and should be able to help him improve further. This was a treasure worth risking his life for. Hanjin made a prompt decision. A divine furnace flew out from his sea of knowledge, intertwined with chaotic light. Old thing, you've lived too long. You're afraid of death. Tai Baokai was so frightened that he almost jumped up. Suyen's entire body was covered in goosebumps. His hands and feet were cold, and his hair stood on end. It was because this divine furnace was too terrifying. It was resplendent and brilliant, the light of primal chaos contained within. When it revived, strand after strand of primal chaos flowed out, as if endless great mountains were flowing out from within. It was too heavy, making this expanse of the starry sky tremble. Layers of void collapsed, unable to withstand the power of the chaotic airflow. Every strand of chaotic airflow could suppress strong enemies and could turn Su Yin and Tai Baokai into pus and blood. Great! The Grand Elder has brought an ultimate treasure of the chaos. Alcate Hall Master was pleasantly surprised. The number of ultimate treasures of the chaos in the entire Big Dipper starfield could be counted. The Big Dipper lineage had a shocking foundation, so they naturally had ultimate treasures of the chaos. This starry sky divine furnace belonged to the category of ultimate treasures of the chaos. It was a heavenly weapon that could kill a major character. The mysterious man's body glowed, and the essence blood within it flowed and spread throughout his body. It emitted immortal light and began to nourish his injured body. Such a strong body. If I can refine it, I can refine a rare human body medicine to extend my life. Hanjin's eyes were red as he took out the starry sky divine furnace. This furnace hung upside down in the void, and the opening of the furnace was like a chaotic universe, spewing out chaotic airflow. The airflow fell from the sky, and even the space was collapsing. It was enough to kill a major character. Heavens, this ultimate treasure of the chaos is too terrifying. The cultivators here were horrified. They saw endless layers of chaotic energy descend, every single strand able to crush the void, releasing terrifying heaven overflowing fluctuations. It was as if an entire cosmos was falling down, making everything within several 100,000 li tremble. This is an ultimate treasure of the chaos. Su Yin and Tai Baocai's expressions changed greatly. The chaotic airflow was too terrifying. Before it fell, the aura it emitted was hard for them to endure. Their bodies were on the verge of shattering. Just as the chaotic airflow was about to envelop Su Yin and the other two, a pair of bright eyes opened. They illuminated the heavens and penetrated the chaotic airflow. Big brother, quickly take action. The moment Tai Baokai screamed, the mysterious man suddenly stood up. At this moment, he was extremely terrifying. It was as if a terrifying divine king had rushed out from the gates of hell and was awakening. Boom! The chaotic airflow that filled the sky exploded. It couldn't stop the waves that erupted from him. He was stronger than before, and he looked a little old. However, his aura was terrifying beyond compare. He was like a divine king that looked down on the heavens, his divine might shocking the heavens. Even the scene of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood appeared behind him. Those were the corpses of gods and devils. The scene of terrifying giants withering. This was a kind of vision that seemed real. Boundless killing intent rushed out. His eyes emitted a terrifying wildness that wanted to tear the entire southern region apart. How is this possible? He can even resist the chaotic airflow. Could he be a divine king? Hanjin was terrified. The Golden Dragon King and the others felt as if they had encountered a snake or a scorpion. They couldn't help but feel a chill in their hearts. The mysterious man was like a divine king that stood tall in the 9 heavens and 10 earths. His hair was messy, and his eyes were filled with killing intent like the sea. Boom! He threw a punch, shattering the chaotic airflow that filled the sky. The starry sky, divine furnace trembled and was sent flying by the punch. Not good, let's go, Hanjin shouted. The Mizar Hall Master and Alcade Hall Master rushed forward and worked together to stabilize the starry sky, divine furnace. This furnace was even more terrifying. A blurry figure stood faintly in the furnace, as if the divine king was standing inside, looking down at the heavens. His divine might was like the sea that drowned the universe. What a terrifying chaos treasure. This is the divine king's treasure. This is too shocking. They have awakened the divine power contained in the chaos treasure. Could it be that even the awakened chaos treasure is no match for this mysterious powerhouse? Hanjin didn't dare to gamble at all. If he lost, he would die. The starry sky divine furnace was filled with the shocking aura of the divine king. It trembled slightly, and a space-time tunnel burst open. They entered and escaped from this place. The beings of the southern region were dumbfounded. They had escaped. Moreover, using the chaos treasure to travel was very fast. It was very likely that they would return to Alcade City in a short period of time. The Golden Dragon King's heart raced. They walked toward the mysterious man and wanted to pay their respects. Boom! However, the mountain forest was suddenly densely covered with countless patterns of the Great Tao, covering the mountain rocks. The Golden Dragon King's pupils constricted. He had seen through the mysterious powerhouse's intentions. He had used spatial contraction to the extreme to cross a region. The mysterious man seemed to have become one with heaven and earth. Heavenly patterns of the Great Tao extended from the soles of his feet, covering hundreds of miles. For a moment, all the beings standing here were shocked. He can cross a region? Su Yin couldn't believe it. Was there really such a method? Buzz. Light filled the sky in this territory. The phenomenon of the Great Tao rose, and the structure of heaven and earth was distorted. This was a heaven-defying method that could distort the starry sky. Suddenly, everyone felt dizzy. It was as if they had been deprived of time. Crossing a region was too difficult. If one had to do it in a short period of time, it would be difficult for beings with weak cultivation to withstand. However, the spatial contraction contained astonishing power of the Great Tao. It locked down the starry sky and blocked the compression of the space-time force. When they came to their senses, they were all stunned. Heavens, we've arrived in the Grand Middle region. What is the background of this, sir? This is too terrifying. Hanjin has kicked an iron plate this time. The beings of the southern region were excited and fanatical. They couldn't wait to kneel down and learn from this master. They had crossed to the Grand Middle region in an instant. This was a method to cross a large region. It was unbelievable. Tai Baokai was scared silly. This was too terrifying. Look, guys, the chaos treasure isn't even as fast as this old man. At this moment, young Dragon King said excitedly. He saw the starry sky, divine furnace in front of them break through the space tunnel and fly out. You guys, Hanjin and the other two were too frightened. Their faces were pale like frightened rabbits. They were scared out of their wits. What kind of magical power was this? It was even faster than the chaos treasure. Could this person really be the divine king? Let's go. Hanjin once again activated the starry sky divine furnace and rushed toward Brilliant City. There was a small world left behind by an ancestor in Brilliant City. As long as they could hide in this small world, it would be difficult for this master to target them. Boom! The sound of killing spread like the sea, shocking the entire Grand Middle region. At this moment, the entire Brilliant City was cold. The cultivators in the city still didn't understand what was happening. First, they saw the starry sky, divine furnace return. However, the one chasing after it was a terrifying master. He raised his fist and smashed the starry sky divine furnace. The aura he emitted was enough to make the entire Brilliance City collapse. Damn it! Hanjin and the others roared. The starry sky divine furnace was dented. However, this furnace was extraordinary. It buzzed on its own and recovered. The three big figures of the Big Dipper lineage joined hands and took out the chaos treasure. They couldn't stop this master. Could it be that a god from another region is chasing after them? There were many masters in Brilliant City. They still didn't know what was going on. However, even the chaos treasure couldn't stop this mysterious master. Who is this fierce man? He is chasing after Hanjin. Could it be that he wants to kill him? The city was in an uproar. The mysterious man had already crossed over. His power was terrifying to the extreme. The sky was shattered and the sun, moon, and stars were wailing. He wants to attack Brilliance Hall. Everyone was silent in shock. Brilliance Hall was the overlord of Brilliance Planet. Its foundation was strong and prosperous. Dong! The mysterious man's second fist came. However, this time, it came from a corner of Brilliant City. The aura of the great Tao was as deep as the abyss. This was the eruption of Brilliance Hall's small world. The small world took root above the great dragon vein and formed a world of its own. The inside was solemn and serene. Galaxies curled up and palaces filled the area. The entire small world was extraordinary. It blocked the mysterious man's fist. The small world was like a deep abyss. It was filled with incomparable power, as if an ancient dragon was hibernating here. Brilliance Hall's foundation is indeed terrifying. All the great figures were shocked. They saw Han Jin and the others enter the small world and borrow the power of the small world to block the mysterious man's fist. You actually dare to kill your way here. Han Jin's eyes were wide open. He sat cross-legged in the small world. His aura was completely different. The small world was equivalent to a space-time that they could use. He said in a cruel voice, "Audacious thing. No matter who you are, my Big Dipper lineage will destroy you." The Big Dipper lineage was the overlord of the Big Dipper starfield. Even if it was a divine king, the Big Dipper lineage wouldn't be afraid. He can't really be planning to attack Brilliance Hall, right? Tai Baokai was alarmed. This is the Big Dipper starfield. Even if all the super factions came, they might not be able to uproot the Big Dipper lineage. A single Brilliance Hall definitely wouldn't be able to threaten the mysterious man. However, if the Big Dipper lineage had a total of 7 halls, in addition to the Big Dipper Star Hall, their foundation would be unparalleled. Once they erupted, the entire universe would tremble. After all, they were once one of the top 10 super factions. They were the Big Dipper lineage that controlled the strongest ancient star. The next moment, under the horrified gazes of everyone around, the tall man's hair danced in the wind. The moment his palm rose, a vague image of the heavens overturning appeared. Rumble! Suyin almost fell to the ground because his life cauldron was rumbling. In particular, an immortal artifact fragment that had been silent and motionless in the cauldron was awakening. The aura it emitted made Su Yin feel so much pain that he wished he was dead. Chapter 206. The immortal weapon fragment was obtained by Su Yin from Earth and was refined into a mortal weapon liquid by the old Taoist. Originally, it was prepared to be fused into Su Yan's natal cauldron, but who knew that the fragment was too strong and fused into one by itself and formed an immortal iron rod phantom. Su Yin couldn't control this thing at all, but now it was rumbling and suddenly separated from Su Yan's natal cauldron. Golden Dragon King and the others didn't realize that the immortal weapon fragment had escaped into the void and appeared in the mysterious man's hand. He was tall, and his hair fluttered in the wind as he stood in Alcade City, his might shocking the heavens and the earth. He held the immortal iron rod fragment, which was blazing and awakening. Suddenly, thousands of immortal iron rod phantoms scattered down and rushed toward Alcade Palace Hall. What kind of treasure is this? The entire Alcade Palace Hall, this small world of its own, was twisting and the space of the small world was trembling. It was actually very difficult to resist the explosion of the immortal weapon fragment. Not good. Han Jin and the others were so angry that their faces turned green. A corner of the small world was broken open by the immortal iron rod. Boundless killing intent also penetrated in, and a power that could sweep through the entire small world surged out in a mighty manner. However, unexpectedly, the mysterious man didn't start a massacre. But a secret treasure vault of Alcade Palace Hall exploded, and pieces of immortal iron rod phantoms flew out one after another. A total of 5 fragments broke free and flew into the mysterious man's hand. Everything happened too quickly, and the Alcade Palace Hall master couldn't stop it in time. He could only watch as these mysterious fragments flew out. The Alcade Palace Hall master screamed and almost spat out a mouthful of blood. He could feel how terrifying these fragments were. These fragments all came from the Star Tomb and belonged to an unknown kind of treasure. This, Su Yin was speechless. The fragments actually fused together, and the immortal Iron Rod Phantom surged violently, filled with the power to kill gods and destroy immortals. Taoist brother, aren't you going overboard? You provoked my Big Dipper Palace Hall, just like that, and even took away 2 great treasures. Han Jin said coldly. He sat cross-legged in the deepest part of the small world and grasped the strongest power of the small world. His entire body was covered by great Tao heavenly patterns, and his power was extremely shocking. Han Jin was stalling for time, waiting for the experts of the Big Dipper lineage to arrive. At that time, no matter how strong he would probably be unable to resist the resources and reserves of the Big Dipper clan. Who would have thought that Han Jin's words would cause the mysterious man's eyes to fill with a monstrous killing intent? Boom! For a moment, the entire Alcade Hall shook and collapsed. Dust filled the air and rocks flew everywhere. The entire Alcade Hall was about to collapse under his might. A terrifying immortal staff phantom stretched out in an instant, reaching the deepest part of the small world like a giant pillar that supported the heavens. Not good. Han Jin felt a headache coming on. He instantly regretted what he had just said, but it was too late to take it back. Although the Great Tao Immortal Staff was severely damaged, the power it released was too terrifying. People saw the starry sky divine furnace wail as it was smashed and sent flying far away, out of Han Jin's control. Boom! The mysterious male's palm struck out. Heavenly winds danced about, shattering everything. Nothing could stop him. It could be said to be an indiscriminate attack. In an instant, it swept over, carrying with it an aura that could burn mountains and boil seas. Han Jin's entire body trembled violently. His entire body was cracking, and blood was seeping out. Han Jin screamed miserably like a dead dog. He couldn't even crawl up. His pores were even spitting out bone dregs. It was a tragic sight. The entire Alcade city was dead silent. Everything had happened too quickly. The mysterious man had shattered Han Jin's body into pieces with a single slap, as if he had been jolted to death. He was the Grand Elder of the Big Dipper Palace Hall. Alcade Hall Master and the others felt their scalps go numb. They didn't dare say a word. They were all scared stiff. Could it be that this was a living divine king? Wong. Suddenly, the mysterious man's body trembled violently. The suppressed Great Tao injury had recovered, causing the mysterious man to cough up blood. His body was cracking, and he was emitting an aura of destruction. The entire Alcade city was about to be destroyed. This is a Great Tao injury. The old monsters of Alcade City were all scared. With such a serious Great Tao injury in his body, he could still erupt with such combat strength. Could it be that this was a divine king? Gotcha! Everyone's hair stood on end. The area where the mysterious man was riddled with holes. The void had become a huge black hole dyed in blood. The mysterious man roared. Air gushed out from all the pores on his body, causing the heaven and earth to tremble. The entire firmament was torn to pieces. He was bathed in blood and went berserk. His roar shook the universe. This was because countless lightning bolts fell from the universe. They could be said to be the source of the lightning tribulation. They were suffused with the killing intent of the Great Tao. They rolled down to strangle the mysterious expert. Not good. Why is he being attacked by the universe's Great Tao? Could it be that he has done something heaven-defying? Su Yin and Tai Baokai were extremely anxious. They saw the mysterious man rush into the starry sky and crash into the lightning. He was like a great vicious being as he let out a loud roar. Gotcha! His eyes were wide open. Air gushed out from his body and tore apart the countless lightning bolts. The scene went from destruction to blurry. The entire Big Dipper star field was stunned. The various ancient life stars all sensed the changes here. They saw a corner of the universe where a blood-stained expert was roaring and shattering the sun, moon, and starry sky. He was rushing madly through the lightning, shattering layers of lightning that were as thick as mountains. Dong, dong, dong. He rushed madly to find the source and capture the mastermind behind the scenes. Su Yin and Tai Baokai saw that the situation wasn't right and quickly left. Brilliant City was too dangerous now. Just as the mysterious man was facing a calamity and Tai Baokai was struggling on the verge of death, Brilliant City erupted with a torrential killing intent. The various experts who were hiding in the dark had made their move. Some people were targeting Shueguan. They were secretly operating a great killing weapon to kill Shueguan. What was even more heaven-defying was that some experts had seized the opportunity to kill their way to Brilliance Hall. They wanted to seize the starry sky, divine furnace. The extraterrestrials are too crazy. Let's go, let's go. Su Yin and Tai Baokai left quickly without looking back. Brilliant City was in complete chaos. The chaos treasure was out of control, and Shueguan might have obtained the inheritance of a powerful expert. Some people were also paying attention to the traces of lightning in the universe. Su Yin looked into the distance and found that the mysterious man had aged a few years. This young man is about to become a big brother. Su Yin sighed. Since meeting him, everything was too bizarre. It made Su Yin feel like he was dreaming. But he couldn't understand why the fragment obtained from Earth was in the hands of this mysterious expert. Even a part of this fragment was in Brilliance Hall's secret treasury. Su Yin found it inconceivable. Could it be that Earth was extremely prosperous in the past? Let's go. Tai Baokai and the others didn't stay for a moment. They disappeared into the vast forest, constantly changing their appearances and fleeing far away. What happened in Brilliant City was like a superstorm that quickly swept through the entire Big Dipper starfield. The Big Dipper starfield was vast, and it was difficult to count the number of ordinary stars. Not only were there 7 supreme ancient stars, but there were also hundreds of high-grade ancient stars. But what happened on Brilliance Planet had already spread throughout the Big Dipper starfield. For a moment, thousands of races were shocked and discussed animatedly. A big shot from the Shui family died tragically. He was roared to death in the southern region of Brilliance Planet, near Barbaric Mountain. The commotion caused by this incident was shocking enough. The Shui family was now at the peak of their power. Shueguan was the Big Dipper Supreme. What happened to the Shui family attracted a lot of attention. Moreover, now that a big shot from the Shui family had died tragically on Brilliance Planet, the commotion caused was too shocking. After all, he was roared to death, not beaten to death. The Big Dipper Starfield's Grand Elder, Han Jin, almost died. His injuries are very serious. Shueguan was attacked. Someone wanted to eliminate him. I don't know who did it in the dark. Brilliance Planet's foundation was greatly damaged and was attacked. Some secret treasuries were opened, and some mighty lords took the risk to loot some of the treasuries. Each incident was more shocking than the last. Shui family's Shui Hongyi had died, and it was said that even Han Jin couldn't hold on for much longer. This caused a huge commotion. Now, Han Jin had been sent back to the Big Dipper Starfield to recuperate. Su Yin and Tai Baokai returned to Marsh City and asked around for information. They were all regretful that Han Jin had actually survived. Some experts speculated that it was because of the Medicine King. There was still a portion of the Medicine King's medicinal effects in Han Jin's body that saved his life at the crucial moment. As for the mysterious man's whereabouts, there was no news at all. They waited nervously. Brilliance Planet had become the most lively place because the Star Tomb was about to open. The Big Dipper lineage is furious. A large number of experts have come out of seclusion and are charging towards Brilliance Planet. On this day, all the great clans in the Big Dipper Starfield were shocked. A large number of elders from the Big Dipper lineage had come out, and even experts from the 7-star halls had charged towards Brilliance Planet. After all, this was related to Han Jin. The Brilliance Hall was almost destroyed, and the impact of this incident was too bad. Who exactly is this mysterious expert? He seems to have evaporated into thin air. The chaos in Brilliance Planet has also stopped, and Shueguan is fine. The Xue family has a strong foundation and possesses a primal chaos treasure. They are protecting Xueguan, but it won't be that easy for him to leave. There are old experts in the dark who are apprehensive of the Big Dipper Palace. But if Xueguan leaves Brilliance Planet and sets out to return, he will definitely be killed. After all, Brilliance Planet was the Big Dipper Palace's territory. Although the Big Dipper Palace was not on the same side, they valued their reputation very much. They would not let Xueguan die in Brilliance Planet for no reason. Su Yin, my clan will definitely kill you. We will definitely grind your bones to dust. The entire Xue family was furious. Xue Hongyi had fallen, and the Xue family had lost a pillar of support. The Xue family's foundation had been greatly damaged, and they were mad with hatred. The news released by Su Yin had caused a group of old farts to set their sights on Xueguan. They did not have much lifespan left, and they wanted to take a gamble. Who knew? They might be able to snatch away a Medicine King. Su Yin's great name also resounded throughout the Big Dipper Starfield. Everything that had happened recently was related to him, and this mysterious man was obviously protecting Su Yin. The Xue family lost a big shot, and Han Jin was also heavily injured. This series of events was hard to believe. How could it be related to a small cultivator? Who is Su Yin? According to the grapevine, Su Yin has mastered the Big Dipper Fist. When this news spread, it thoroughly shook the Big Dipper Starfield. All the major powers were terrified. Could it be that this Su Yin was Yingjie, who was secretly nurtured by the Big Dipper clan? Big news! The Big Dipper fairy has descended on Brilliance Planet and went to Xueguan's place of seclusion. Chapter 207. In Brilliance City, the Silver River filled the sky. Fairies descended to the mortal world, attracting everyone's attention. Bamboo Moon was graceful and noble. Her temperament was elegant, and her immortal appearance was peerless. She was like a fairy riding the waves, gracefully walking over the Silver River. She was beautiful and noble, pure and holy. Her jet-black hair was sparkling and fell to her waist. The younger generation was suffocating. Some women felt ashamed of their inferiority, not daring to look directly at her. Northern Dipper Fairy was fully deserving of the title of #1 beauty in the Northern Dipper Starfield. Moreover, her talent was peerless, and she could compete with the older generation's experts. Bamboo Moon had even suppressed the 7 Palace Masters to become the new Lord of the Northern Dipper. She was a legend, and she had countless suitors. Xueguan was young, and his lifespan was only 100 or 200 years. In the cultivation world, he wasn't considered old, but he already had the demeanor of a peerless expert. Xueguan was already unrivaled in the world several decades ago. Among the geniuses of his generation, no one could compete with him. If nothing unexpected happened, Xueguan would very likely be conferred the title of Northern Dipper Supreme in the future. To be conferred the title of Young Supreme? That was too few. Moreover, the Supreme of Starfield was truly terrifying beyond compare. Xueguan stood up to welcome them. His body was divine, and his steps were majestic. It was as if he was walking in a golden divine kingdom. The blood essence that gushed out from his body could be called an ocean. What a frightening body! Great Child Yao Guang and the others were shocked. This body was ridiculously strong. It was rumored that Xueguan's body was even more astonishing than a supreme physique. Of course, this wasn't the most important thing. Xueguan's body gushed with the aura of the great Tao, transmitting layers of sutra sounds. It was as if an almighty was chanting sutras in his body, causing him to bathe in golden divine light. It was as if he was bathing in a rain of great Tao light. Unbelievable. Look, this is the sign of comprehending a great Tao. Those of the older generation were all shocked. Xueguan was bathed in the golden divine radiance, and there were indistinct golden lotuses of the great Tao appearing. They were formed from the intersecting patterns of the great Tao. Although they were still very indistinct, every single golden lotus of the great Tao swayed gently, and they actually shattered the void, spreading out waves that made people tremble. The little Dragon King and the others had a solemn expression. Xueguan was truly invincible at this realm. He was not someone they could contend against because he had already touched upon the Great Tao. This golden lotus of the Great Tao was the best symbol. Shueguan is becoming more and more terrifying. In the future, he might even be able to conquer the chaos ruins. People realized that Shueguan's temperament was becoming calmer and calmer. His whole body was like one, as if he had become one with heaven and earth. His entire body was emitting the aura of the Great Tao. Back then, Fairy Beidou went on an expedition to the chaos. She disappeared for many years before returning. I wonder what kind of opportunity she obtained. In the future, between her and Shueguan, who will be stronger? Some people were observing Fairy Beidou. Now, Shueguan had already touched upon the power of the Great Tao. He chanted sutras every day and merged with the Great Tao, comprehending the true meaning of the Great Tao. Given enough time, he would definitely become a great talent. The chaos ruins are the burial grounds of supreme geniuses. The death rate of young supreme experts of the same generation is very high. Although there are young supreme experts from various major starfields who kill their way to the chaos ruins in every era, how many of them can truly obtain great opportunities? It is said that even young supreme experts find it hard to endure traveling to the chaos ruins. They will easily die on the way. Rumor has it that only those supreme experts who can sweep through various major starfields can accomplish this. I wonder if Shueguan will be able to reach this step in the future? The older generation experts were discussing. The universe was vast, and there were countless starfields. Being invincible in a single starfield was already very amazing, but when viewed from the perspective of the entire universe, it really didn't count as much. That was unless those truly terrifying heavenly geniuses crossed over to contend for the world. As for the chaos ruins, their expressions changed when they talked about it. That was an extremely terrifying life, forbidden zone, the burial grounds of various kings. It was rumored that sacred medicines were not considered rare in the chaos ruins. It was said that even legendary immortal medicines existed there. What a perfect couple. In Alcade City, countless gazes converged on the Northern Dipper Ferry and Shueguan. The younger generation was extremely envious, and the older generation was also clear that if the bamboo moon nodded, the Northern Dipper lineage would directly take action and send Shueguan to the Shuef family. It was likely that no one would dare to use force. If Shueguan was born a few decades earlier, he would definitely be able to carry the beauty home. What harm is there in that? With the Northern Dipper Supreme's might, it will only take a few decades for him to easily catch up. Once he comprehends the Great Tao, his status will be equal to the Northern Dipper Fairy. At that time, he will have a legitimate reason to propose marriage. I wonder what they're talking about. Alcade City was surging with undercurrents. The old monsters hibernating in the dark didn't want the bamboo moon to help Shueguan. They all coveted the inheritance of powerful experts, even if they couldn't obtain it. As long as they could obtain a stock of king medicine, they would be able to live for a few hundred more years. In less than an hour, those who were secretly paying attention vaguely noticed that Shueguan's official residence was shaking, and a terrifying airflow rippled out. The Golden Dragon King was pleasantly surprised. It seemed that they didn't come to an agreement. Bamboo Moon came out, and the little girl accompanying her, Xia Chun, was very angry. Bamboo Moon shook her head slightly, looked around, and went to Alcade Hall. Alcade Hall was also her territory. Although the Northern Dipper lineage had some internal strife, the Alcade Hall master didn't dare to make things difficult for Bamboo Moon on the surface. He respectfully welcomed her in. Lord of the Northern Dipper, even if Su Yin is a disciple of your Northern Dipper Hall, he killed Uncle Xuan Ming and caused the death of my Shuef family's ancestor. Our Shuef family is irreconcilable with him. Also, the heaven art you cultivate is flawed, and your progress has already stopped. Without my big brother to help you obtain the scripture, do you think, when night fell, Shuelong's angry voice spread throughout Alcade City? Before he could finish, Shueguan's palm struck over and suppressed Shueguan. He roared, "Big brother, let me finish. My big brother is the Northern Dipper Hall master, and will definitely be invincible in the future. Even if Su Yin is a disciple of the Northern Dipper lineage's ancestor, you should enforce the law impartially and eliminate him. Xuelong was suppressed in the official residence. He was furious. The great Dao Pearl was taken away by Tai Bao Kai, and he wanted nothing more than to skin Su Yin alive. Now that the Northern Dipper Fairy had come to resolve the grudge, Xuelong was the first to disagree. The entire Alcade city felt suffocated, as if a storm was coming. Su Yin is a disciple of the Northern Dipper lineage's ancestor. The entire Alcade city trembled, and the news spread everywhere. More people were dumbfounded, especially the Alcade Hall Master, who was furious. How could Su Yin be a disciple of the Northern Dipper lineage's ancestor? That was an ancestor, an existence that even he didn't have the qualifications to meet. According to the Northern Dipper Fairy, Su Yin is a disciple of the Northern Dipper lineage's ancestor who was traveling outside. His origin is even shocking. It's terrifying if you think about it carefully. The person behind Su Yin can definitely kill Su Yin, but he didn't kill Su Yin. Could it be related to Su Yin becoming a disciple of the Northern Dipper lineage? It's a warning to the older generation not to interfere. But these leaked rumors made the older generation fearful. Since the Northern Dipper Fairy had personally come to resolve the grudge for Su Yin, his origin was definitely not small. Star-Lord, is Su Yin really a disciple of the Northern Dipper lineage's ancestor? May I ask which ancestor it is? The Alcade Hall Master's expression was extremely ugly. His supreme treasure was taken away, the Alcade Hall was breached, and Princess Alcade was kicked to death by Su Yin. How could he leave things at that? Now Bamboo Moon was telling him to stop. She was even telling him not to interfere in the younger generation struggle. This made the Alcade Hall Master angry. This Bamboo Moon actually dared to interfere in his matters and even directly gave him an order. Zhuyu was peerless in her generation, her beauty crowning the entire star region. Her entire body was suffused with dazzling silver radiance. Especially her eyes. There were visions of the sun, moon, and stars inscribed within them. Her eyes that were as bright as stars emanated the aura of the Grand Tao that was like a star abyss. In front of this aura of the great Tao, even someone as strong as the Alcade Hall Master felt a bit suffocated. Bamboo Moon's cultivation was too strong. The older generation has never interfered in the struggle of the younger generation. If Su Yin perishes in the struggle of the younger generation, I believe the person behind him won't say anything. Don't forget Xue Hongyi's lesson. The Alcade Hall Master's face was ashen. This was equivalent to threatening him. It was very difficult for him to swallow this anger. But the existence behind Su Yin was still fearful even now. That person had almost killed Han Jin with a single slap. Some elders of the Big Dipper Star Palace Hall were in an uproar. Originally, they were surprised that Bamboo Moon had gone to help Xueguan, who knew that the leaked information would cause the relationship between the Xue family and the Big Dipper bloodline to become so delicate. Star Master, this matter is of great importance. You must give us an explanation for this matter. After all, it concerns the Xue family and Xueguan. This Su Yin is admittedly a strange person, but he is only a small cultivator. The Big Dipper bloodline doesn't have such a disciple. If you can abandon him now, then abandon him. You shouldn't worsen your relationship with Supreme Xueguan because of this. I agree. We cannot allow Su Yin to enter our Big Dipper bloodline. The trouble he has caused is too great. These elders' complexions were ugly, but Han Jin was heavily injured. For the time being, no one in the Big Dipper bloodline could suppress Bamboo Moon. I'm tired. Let's talk about it tomorrow. Bamboo Moon closed the palace doors. She frowned and felt that it was inconceivable. Su Yin had really come. How long had it been? Moreover, he had almost stepped into the third stage strange person realm. Su Yin, that little native. Bamboo Moon's eyes lit up. She was extremely surprised and also somewhat regretful. She really should have brought Su Yin directly to the Big Dipper bloodline. Perhaps Su Yin's achievements would have been even greater. Young miss, why did you become enemies with the Xue family because of a small cultivator? Xia Chun was also very puzzled. She then said angrily, The Shui family head's words are too excessive. He doesn't take the Star Master seriously at all. Bamboo Moon's eyes also had a trace of coldness. The Shui family had agreed to resolve the grudge and not make things difficult for Su Yan. However, the prerequisite was that Shui Guan had comprehended the Great Tao and allowed them to marry him. She was the Star Master of the Big Dipper, but she actually received such an answer. This made Bamboo Moon very angry. She said worriedly, "I didn't expect that old thing Han Jin would tell Shui Guan about this. The Shui family has seen through my weakness. If I don't get the complete Big Dipper scripture, my cultivation will stop. It's only a matter of time before I retire as the Star Master." Star Master, I think this Su Yin is a strange person with amazing combat strength. I wonder if he can help you? Xia Chun's eyes lit up. Hearing this, Bamboo Moon smiled bitterly and said, "How long has he been cultivating? The Big Dipper is not a good place. Although Su Yin is a strange person, in the Big Dipper Scripture Pavilion, the competition is based on real strength. It's impossible to rely on external forces. It's hard to say if the Big Dipper Scripture Pavilion even has the Big Dipper Scripture. I think after this incident, Han Tong won't help you either." Xia Chun's expression was bleak. "Although I've also cultivated to the Transcendence realm, there's still a gap between me and Yao Guang and the others. He always thinks that I stole his position as the Star Master. Even if this didn't happen, he wouldn't help me." Bamboo Moon shook her head slightly. She only hoped that when she could enter, the complete Big Dipper scripture would still be there. Han Tong hasn't even comprehended the Great Tao, and he still wants to be the Star Master? Xia Chun shook her head in disdain. Bamboo Moon sat on the chair, her eyes full of worry. Then, she thought of Su Yin and shook her head with a smile. She was really very curious. How did Su Yin come to Planet Alcade? What did he experience? What did he encounter? She was very clear that Su Yin was just a native. He had no one to rely on at all. There were undercurrents in Alcade City. Su Yin was in Marsh City. When he heard the news from Alcade City, he clenched his fists tightly. Isn't she your woman? She actually went to Shui Guan's official residence to resolve your grudges. Unfortunately, Shui Guan didn't buy it. The more he acts like this, the more I suspect that the inheritance he received is extraordinary. Tai Baokai grinned and said, "Let's go to the Star Tomb later. After all, Big Dipper is the ancient star with the strongest life forms." Shui Long said that Bamboo Moon lacks a scripture. What is it? Su Yin suddenly thought of something. It should be the Big Dipper scripture? Tai Baokai hesitated for a while and said, "The strongest scripture of the Big Dipper lineage is the Big Dipper scripture. The Big Dipper Hall Master must have cultivated the Big Dipper scripture. Rumor has it that she suppressed the 7 Hall Masters. I guess it's the Big Dipper scripture. It seems that the Lord of Big Dipper is not simple. She can even cultivate this kind of scripture. Rumor has it that once the Big Dipper scripture is cultivated, one's magic power will be overwhelming." Tai Baotsai's words shocked Su Yin. He said, "Big Dipper has sunk, so a part of the Big Dipper scripture is also lost. It might be in the Big Dipper." "Very likely," Tai Baokai said disdainfully. "Kid, don't tell me you want to fight for the Big Dipper scripture. You're just a small cultivator now. You don't have the qualifications to fight with them. If I cultivate the starry sky divine furnace with my physical strength, I shouldn't be weak." Su Yin thought, maybe I can really help her. During this time, Tai Baokai and the Golden Dragon King's bloodline talked. Soon, they received a piece of news and said excitedly, "The Golden Dragon King is after all a big shot of the demon race. According to his information, some old guys have set their eyes on Shui Guan and want to trap him in Alcade City. Even Big Dipper Fairy isn't simple. Maybe she'll ask some people to trap Shui Guan. If that's the case, it'll be difficult for him to go to the Star Tomb. If Shui Guan really goes to the Star Tomb, the Big Dipper's power of the Great Tao can speed up his enlightenment. At that time, Shui Guan will be too terrifying." Tai Baokai was speechless. It had to be said that Shui Guan was strong. He touched the Great Tao at such a young age. "Baokai, you're very well informed." A man in a black robe appeared strangely in the cultivation room. He stood in the void and smiled. "Miss Xioning will also make a move, and try to trap Shueguan in Brilliant City for a period of time. Who is it? Tai Baokai and Su Yan were shocked. However, the black-robed man's figure was too blurry and they couldn't see him clearly. How did he find them? Don't panic. I mean no harm. The black-robed man smiled. Su Yan, Tai Baokai, I'm here on behalf of Miss Zi Xioning. I want to talk to you and make a deal. What do you want to talk about? Tai Baokai was honest and didn't dare to be arrogant. It's simple. If you can find something that Miss Zi Xioning needs in the Star Tomb, the Cosmos Business Alliance can help you with it. The black-robed man's words stunned Su Yan. He frowned. Zi Xioning wants our help. Are you sure you found the right person? She's a big shot in the Cosmos Business Alliance. Don't joke around. That's right. You're the ones I found. The black-robed man nodded helplessly. After all, they were just two small cultivators and couldn't help at all. However, Zi Xioning had specifically asked them to join in. Can we kill Shueguan? Tai Baokai asked as he stuck out his round head and pricked up his ears. He knew that Zi Xioning had a big background. Yes, the black-robed man said coldly. But you might not be able to kill him. You could try to kill him once. After all, Shueguan obtained the inheritance of a powerful person and must have a powerful treasure protecting him. The price to pay to kill him is too high. Chapter 208. Su Yan and Tai Baokai were dumbfounded. What kind of person was Zi Xioning in the Cosmos Business Alliance? If she had the ability to kill Shueguan, and even if she had the confidence to do so, she would have to pay a shocking price. What were we looking for? They were puzzled. Why would Zi Xioning ask them for help? They weren't even in the divine ability secret realm. They felt that what they were looking for wasn't simple. After all, killing Shueguan wasn't a small matter. If the Cosmos Business Alliance dared to say such a thing, it meant that the Cosmos Business Alliance's foundation was terrifying. Sorry, I can't tell you for the time being. The black-robed man took out 2 jade pendants and handed them to them. If you get close to this item, the jade pendants will sense it. As long as you bring it back to Miss Zi Xioning, the Cosmos Business Alliance will help you once. But I have to say, don't leak this information. It won't do you any good. We'll keep it a secret, but there has to be a reason. Why are you looking for us? Su Yan was full of doubts. Why would she ask them to help? There should be a lot of elites in the Cosmos Business Alliance. Maybe she thinks you're lucky to be able to jump around under the attack of Alcade Hall and Schwef family. Young people, you're not simple. Besides, if you fail, Miss Zi Xioning won't have to pay anything. But if you succeed, the rewards will be more than this. The black-robed man chuckled. Su Yan's face darkened. Was it just good luck? The black-robed man didn't have much hope. Zi Xioning chose them because of the burial region. Tai Baokai had the aura of the burial region. More than 100 years ago, the experts of the burial region opened the Star Tomb and found them only because of this. Boom! Suddenly, the cultivation room seemed to disappear into thin air. Strands of resplendent, immortal radiance fell down, accompanied by the image of a heaven-shattering, immortal staff. The black-robed man's expression changed as if he had encountered a snake or scorpion. First of all, these fragments were terrifying enough. Even Old Man Black was trembling. If it was a complete weapon, then it would be incredible. Although he couldn't see what it was specifically, these fragments were already so shocking. If one could grasp a complete weapon, then they would definitely be an invincible existence in the starry skies. His figure quickly blurred and disappeared into the void. He didn't dare to stay here any longer. It's an immortal artifact fragment. Su Yan was pleasantly surprised. This thing actually came back and even flew towards him. This was enough to show that the mysterious man was fine. To Su Yan's surprise, he returned the item to him. The black-robed man was scared away. He knew how powerful the mysterious man was, so he didn't want to meet him. It must be for me, Tai Baokai said in a resolute and decisive tone. It rushed up excitedly, but who knew that as soon as it approached, it would be crushed by the falling immortal artifact fragment, causing it to tremble all over and fall to the ground, screaming miserably. Su Yan was speechless. He took out his life cauldron, which glowed and began to circulate the power of the beginning sutra. The aura emitted by the immortal iron rod fragment instantly calmed down and sank into Su Yan's life cauldron. 6 fragments. I wonder how many fragments there are in a complete immortal artifact fragment. What level does this weapon belong to? It must be stronger than a Tao divine weapon or even a Chaos Supreme treasure, right? Su Yin thought to himself. Although it was just a fragment, it could transform into the appearance of a great Tao immortal rod. The aura it emitted was even more terrifying. Su Yan's heart heated up. He recalled the scene of the mysterious man holding the immortal artifact fragment and sending the Chaos Supreme treasure flying. His heartbeat accelerated. Could it be that the immortal artifact fragment was even more shocking than a Chaos Supreme treasure? Su Yan then shook his head. The mysterious man's cultivation was already shocking. Even if Su Yin could grasp the immortal artifact fragment, he wouldn't be able to unleash much of its power. No, there's an imprint on the fragment. It's his imprint. Su Yan's pupils constricted as he sensed the aura of the mysterious man. His spirit extended out and spread to the immortal artifact fragment. Rumble. This was a heavy aura that flowed into his sea of consciousness along with the power of his spirit. Su Yan's entire sea of consciousness was rumbling as if the door to a new world had been opened. Here, Su Yan saw a golden and translucent divine weapon. It was dazzling and emitted the sound of the great Tao. Could this be a complete immortal rod? Why does it look so similar to the legendary golden cudgel? Su Yan was shocked. A shadow even appeared in his sea of consciousness. It was undoubtedly the imprint left behind by the mysterious man. It was like a great Tao imprint that had awakened at this moment. The scene that made Su Yin tremble was that the mysterious man held the immortal rod with one arm. His entire body emitted an unparalleled divine aura that could overturn rivers and seas. When he held the immortal rod and swung it, Su Yin saw the void collapse. The sun and moon were destroyed, and the universe was rising and falling. It was as if, as the mysterious man swung the immortal rod, the entire universe was about to explode. This is a divine ability. Su Yin was excited. His primordial spirit operated to the strongest state to observe this imprint. The imprint was constantly swinging the immortal rod. This was only one strike, but it was equivalent to grasping the immortal rod's starting stance. One strike after another, the starting stance was repeated endlessly. Every strike contained a kind of power, a kind of extreme realm of force, a kind of world-shaking power that overflowed with divine aura. It was like a form of the great Tao that contained an unparalleled divine aura. It was like the pulse of the universe was beating, making it difficult for Su Yin to comprehend in a short period of time. No, I can't see through it at all. My cultivation is too low. It's just a starting stance, but it's enough to erupt with world-shaking divine aura that can overturn rivers and seas. Su Yin opened his eyes. His face was a little pale, and his primordial spirit was greatly exhausted. This kind of inheritance was not something he could comprehend now. Every strike contained the aura of the great Tao, contained the power of the extreme realm of force. It contained an unparalleled source of power. It was equivalent to a manifestation of the pinnacle of power control. Although it was just a simple starting stance, it contained too many details. It was difficult for Su Yin to comprehend anything. However, he knew that once he comprehended the starting stance, he would be able to swing the immortal weapon fragment. "Kid, what's going on?" Tai Baokai ran up with a sullen face and said, "I was almost shocked to death. How did that treasure come here? How did you take it away?" "Don't ask." Su Yin put away the natal cauldron and said with a chuckle, "Anyway, Big Brother is safe and sound. Maybe I'll meet him again after some time. That fragment must be an extremely powerful treasure. Take it out and let me study it." Tai Baokai chased after Su Yin, wanting to see what kind of treasure it was. "Don't think about it. How did Zi Xioning's experts find us?" Su Yin said seriously. "If the Shui family finds us, won't we be caught red-handed?" Hearing this, Tai Baokai also became serious. It was related to their lives. If they were really dug out, it would be embarrassing. "Don't move." Tai Baokai frowned and sniffed Su Yan's body. His face darkened because he found a strand of hair in Su Yan's hair. "This isn't my hair." This is Z Xioning's hair. This demoness is really capable. She can grasp my coordinates at any time. Su Yan was speechless. He found that this strand of hair was very hard. This undoubtedly meant that Z Xioning's cultivation was very high. She was not as simple as she looked on the surface. Boy, you have good luck with women. Did you sleep with her? Tai Baokai stood up and asked. His two big ears were erect. His fat body was hairy and overflowing with color. He looked very funny. How did you know? Su Yan was surprised. You're fat and you're panting. Tai Baokai groaned and shook his big round head. I think we should leave here. It's not safe here. Maybe Z Xioning will sell us out. After all, it's related to a king medicine. Follow me. I want to go back to Zhang village to have a look. I wonder what kind of treasure Z Xioning wants us to find. It's definitely not simple. We'll see how it goes. If it's useful, we'll take it for ourselves. Tai Baokai said against his conscience. Su Yan's next plan was to go to the Star Tomb. It would be best if they could find the Big Dipper scripture. Even if they couldn't, Su Yan wanted to do his part. Moreover, he was very tempted by Z Xioning's offer. They left Marsh City and used the ancient void formation here to cross to the Wildlands Mountain Forest. Last time, the void formation of the Yin tribe was destroyed by Go Peng, but they repaired it. After all, the Star Tomb was about to open, and they could make a lot of money by then. Zhang village was very close to the Star Tomb. There were many villages near the Star Tomb. Although the Star Tomb was not completely open, there were many cultivators near the Star Tomb, waiting for it to open. Su Yan and Tai Baokai went to the starboat. After looking around the periphery, Tai Baokai said in a low voice, "There must be sacred medicine in the strongest ancient planet. I heard that the collapse of the Big Dipper is related to the 9 great celestial mountains." Hearing this, Su Yan's heart shook. He asked, "What are the 9 great celestial mountains?" Rumor has it that in ancient times, there were 9 celestial mountains in the universe. According to the ancient legends, there were heaven-defying fortunes buried in the celestial mountains. Once you control the celestial mountains, you can obtain power that no one dares to imagine. Rumor has it that there are supreme, sacred weapons guarding the 9 great celestial mountains. It is said that the Big Dipper clan's most precious treasure was nurtured by one of the celestial mountains. It is said that the 9 great celestial mountains gradually disappeared with the passage of time. I suspect that there are forces secretly controlling them. It is said that there's a celestial mountain in the Big Dipper. Once you enter the celestial mountain, you can obtain heaven-defying fortunes. Su Yan was moved. He recalled the mountain he saw when he first came to the Alcade planet. Could the snow mountains on Earth and the mountains in the Star Tomb be the 9 great celestial mountains? The rumor that Tai Baokai heard was very ancient, and it was told by the Golden Dragon King. However, the Star Tomb had opened many times in the past, and no one had ever seen a celestial mountain. They quickly left and arrived at Zhang village. Zhang village was very lively. Su Yan brought a lot of gifts for the children in the village. He also took out jars of old wine and gave some to each family. The elders in the village all came and sighed. During this period of time, they had also heard of some of Su Yan's deeds. They did not expect that the young man, saved by the village chief, would have such ability. His courage was on par with the young village chief. "Little Yin Zi, your body is getting stronger and stronger." The blacksmith laughed. He was very tall and sturdy, strong and powerful. His big hand patted Su Yan's shoulder. "Big cat, run." A naughty child took advantage of Tai Baocai's inattention and rode on its back, excitedly saying. Tai Baokai almost exploded. It growled, "Little kid, I am a majestic beast deity." "What big cat?" "Ignorant. It looks like a bear." "No, it looks like a big tabby cat. Its appearance is very good. It can be sold for a high price." "Little Yin Zi, is this your mount?" The people in the village were discussing. Su Yan was afraid that Tai Baokai would go crazy. Seeing Tai Baocai's black face, he corrected, "Ignorant, I am a beast deity. This kid is more like my mount. Don't talk nonsense." Su Yan was relieved. He told the elders in the village not to reveal anything related to them. He was afraid that Zhang village would get into big trouble. Zhang's son ordered the men in the village to kill a few fierce beasts. At night, Zhang village burned a bonfire and they drank wine. It was very lively. Tai Baokai felt that this village was not simple. It drank until it was drunk and tried to befriend the elders in the village. It almost ate all the bamboo in the village. This guy could eat too much. It could swallow a bison in one mouth. Many young experts of the Shui family in Yaoguang Hall's younger generation came. Zhang Shanshan said worriedly, "You guys should be careful. They won't let this go. They're looking for you guys all over the world, especially the disciples of the previous generation. Many of them have reached the transcendence realm. Yao Guang and the others could only be said to be of the current generation. However, there were some transcendence realm cultivators of the previous generation. They were not too old and would enter the Star Tomb after a period of time. It's okay. As long as they don't calculate our whereabouts, they will be fine. I'm afraid they will not expect us to be in the village." Su Yin was prepared to cultivate for a period of time. He rested for 2 days to relax and took out the heavenly essence stone to refine. The heavenly essence stone contained an extremely strong essence. His 7th sacred gate was about to open. Su Yin was prepared to break through this sacred gate in one go. 10 days later, the array formation that Su Yin had set up almost collapsed. The commotion caused by his breakthrough was too great. When the 7th sacred gate opened, Su Yin stepped into the 7th firmament of the Tao Gate realm. The divine power in his body soared, which shocked Su Yin. From the 7th firmament to the 9th firmament of the Tao Gate realm, every time a sacred gate was opened, his divine power would soar by a lot. The divine power in his body was exuberant, and the blood in his body was boiling. I actually used up close to 20 kilograms of heavenly essence stone. Every time a sacred gate is opened, my foundation will increase by several folds. Su Yin frowned. This was too much. He estimated that the next time he opened the 8th firmament sacred gate, he would need more than 25 kilograms of heavenly essence stone. If he continued to calculate, he would need even more heavenly essence stone to cultivate to the peak. He got up and left. He asked about Tai Baocai's whereabouts and found out that Tai Baokai had been hanging out with the blacksmiths during this period of time. Tai Baokai is learning how to forge. Su Yin was astonished. The elders in the village were all praising Tai Baokai. They said that Tai Baokai was very strong and had forged some weapons for the village. Could it be that Uncle Blacksmith has mastered some forging techniques? Su Yin rushed over. Tai Baokai would definitely not forge for no reason. When he arrived at the blacksmith's weapon shop, he saw Tai Baokai swinging a huge hammer and smashing it down. Every strike was filled with vigorous power. When the hammer landed, it caused the surroundings to rumble and draw upon the power of heaven and earth. Chapter 209. Bang! Bang! Tai Baokai swung a black sledgehammer. It was very heavy, and even with Tai Baocai's strength, it was difficult for him to swing it. Hammer after hammer, Tai Baocai's body glowed with each strike as he bombarded the stone with his strongest strength. This is a tough rock. Su Yin's pupils suddenly shrank. The toughness of the tough rock was comparable to divine iron. Su Yin was surprised. Could it be that the blacksmith's weapons were all made of tough rocks? Tai Baokai was sweating profusely. Every strike of the hammer required him to use his strongest strength to forge the tough rock and temper his body. Baokai, your perception is too low. Su Yin, you do it. The blacksmith had a serious expression as he taught Tai Baokai forging techniques. Su Yan's heart trembled as he hurriedly walked up. Look carefully. I'll forge for you to see. The burly blacksmith had the vigor of a dragon and horse. He looked like a blacksmith grandmaster with a serious expression. He picked up an even heavier sledgehammer, causing the void to distort faintly. Su Yin was shocked. The blacksmith's strength was astonishing. When he swung the hammer, heaven and earth trembled. Strands of shocking aura flowed out, as if they were about to split open the sky. This was a kind of aura that shocked Su Yin. He seemed to have seen a divine martial arts god awakening. His entire body was as one, as if he had turned into a bolt of lightning that was about to tear open the sky. In fact, the blacksmith's aura was somewhat similar to the mysterious man's. It should not be said that their auras were similar, but rather, their control of power was similar. This kind of power was indescribable. It was emitted from their bodies, and their bodies were like savage dragons. It was a very terrifying embodiment. Boom! The hammer smashed down with an astonishing explosive force. It concentrated the strength of the entire body and moved the entire body. Moreover, the blacksmith's strength was very ingenious. After all, with his strength, it was very likely that he could break a rock with a single strike of his hammer. Su Yin was mesmerized by the scene. The blacksmith struck again and again without any signs of tiredness. Every strike displayed the beauty of strength. The moment he struck, it was as if he had become one with the heavens and earth. His aura was powerful, and his entire body seemed to have become one with the giant hammer. Forging iron requires one's own strength. As long as I can learn my forging skills, I'll definitely be able to unleash the power of divine weapons to the greatest extent. Remember, you have to use the power of your soul to grasp the essence of forging. When you forge, you have to channel your power into the divine weapon, and the divine weapon will be bestowed with spirituality. Just like humans, their potential is limitless. The human body will constantly transform. It is the same for blacksmithing. A piece of ordinary iron can also grow. Tai Baokai observed the blacksmith forging and was enlightened. It realized that the blacksmith's control of power was too astonishing. It was already extraordinary and an extremely high realm. If it could control power to the same extent as the blacksmith, it would be difficult for it not to become a powerhouse in the future. In Su Yan's spiritual world, the blacksmith gradually changed. It was as if he had turned into a divine dragon that could reach the heavens. Every move he made caused the heavens and earth to shake and the universe to turn upside down. It was as if there was nothing that could stop the blacksmith. Su Yan was silent. He recalled the starting stance of the immortal iron rod and had a kind of enlightenment. The qi and blood in his body uncontrollably surged and climbed steadily. It overflowed from his body and penetrated his limbs and bones. Su Yan's entire body was filled with boundless strength. However, he realized that it was very difficult for him to be like the blacksmith. Although he could fuse his power together, it was absolutely impossible for him to be like the blacksmith. Rule. Su Yan was speechless. This was the rule of the human body, the rule of the power domain. Tai Baokai discovered this point and came here to forge. If it could control the rule of the human body, it could erupt with the strongest power of the body in all aspects. Body as the universe. Su Yan muttered to himself. The initial sutra was broad and profound. It cultivated the human body as the universe. Although his human body also gave birth to the rule, Su Yan had not started to comprehend the power of the human body. The pinnacle of power can reach the heavens and the earth. This is something that only the law phase realm can come into contact with. Even the law phase realm can come into contact with the body domain. Su Yan pondered for a long time and picked up the blacksmith's giant hammer. This giant hammer was very heavy. When he lifted it, Su Yan's aura was suppressed by a lot. He was very surprised. What realm was the blacksmith in? Bang, bang, bang. Su Yan began to forge the mischievous stone. One strike after another, he circulated the strongest power in his body with every strike. After a few dozen strikes, Su Yan realized that the energy in his body had been drained and he was very weak. Su Yan stared. He could not even forge a small weapon. This forging technique was really difficult to learn. Su Yan and Tai Baokai communicated. Tai Baokai said, "The pinnacle of power is also a rule. It belongs to the most fundamental power of the body. The human body has the most primitive power." The blacksmith supervised their forging and said in a low voice, "But it is especially difficult to tap into this most primitive power. It needs to go through cruel training to stimulate the potential of the human body." Su Yan meditated to recover and began to forge again. Days passed. Every day, Su Yan was so tired that he was panting and aching all over. However, he still stood up the next day. After forging continuously for 10 days, Su Yan realized that his physical strength had increased by a lot. Tai Baokai stuck out his tongue and panted heavily in exhaustion. Hmm. It shuddered and got up immediately, staring at Su Yan with wide eyes. It realized that Su Yan's aura had changed slightly. His entire body was moving rhythmically, and his pores were emitting resplendent light like a burning furnace. Tai Baokai stood up and paid attention to Su Yan. Su Yan seemed to have disappeared and become one with heaven and earth. The blacksmith was also moved. When he saw Su Yan's palm rise, heaven and earth rumbled. The divine power in his body surged vigorously, and his body recovered to the extreme. A divine aura surged out. Su Yan turned into a divine furnace. Be it the starting stance taught by the mysterious man or the forging technique developed by the blacksmith. Su Yan's mind flashed. His corporeal body seemed to have stiffened, standing between heaven and earth. He raised his palm. This was a strange posture, but there was an extremely terrifying power brewing in his body. Tai Baokai vaguely realized that there was a blurry light in Su Yan's body. It was like a real dragon emerging. It was very shocking. The power of the physical body. Tai Baokai lowered his head and pondered for a moment. Then he suddenly stood up. His fat body began to glow. He was also extraordinary. As his blood and vitality began to boil, an indescribable potential began to emerge. Little Yanzi should have received some inheritance. This starting stance looks very shocking and has hidden mysteries. If he can cultivate it, it will be amazing. The blacksmith nodded with certainty. He realized that Su Yan's beginner stance was different from the one he taught Su Yan. However, he had already touched on it. This is a physical technique. The blacksmith observed for a while and muttered to himself in his heart. Among the 10 great heavenly divine powers, there is one called the initial fist. It can be said to be an invincible physical technique. I wonder which star field it is hidden in. Su Yan stood there for a few days. He frowned. He had sensed this power, but it was very difficult to dig it out. The blacksmith said that there was no need to rush. Su Yan's body was not strong enough. When he stepped into the divine power realm, the speed at which he comprehended it would be faster. My combat strength has increased. Su Yan swung the giant hammer again and found that it was easier. It was no longer as strenuous as before. This is nothing. You have touched on the essence of power, so your strength will naturally increase. If you fight with a cultivator of the same realm, they will be crushed by you. After all, they use brute force. The blacksmith said, "Strike while the iron is hot." Who knows, you might be able to forge some divine weapons. All right. Su Yan took out his natal cauldron and swung the giant hammer, smashing it at the natal cauldron. The power of each strike was very heavy. Su Yan's blood and qi burst out of his body and intertwined with the power of laws, hammering the walls of the natal cauldron. My forging technique requires me to forge my own strength into the natal cauldron. Only then can I dig out the artifact's origin power to the greatest extent. Su Yan and Tai Baokai had already obtained the blacksmith's forging technique. After studying it, they came to the conclusion that this was a very amazing forging technique. It was equivalent to forging one's own body and forging one's own knowledge into the artifact. This was a method to temper the natal artifact. If it could be forged, the power of the natal artifact could also be increased. Su Yan took out the Heaven's Essence Stone to prevent his body from losing too much strength. The blacksmith's smithing sound continued. Every day, the cauldron changed. It was as if the human pulse had been hammered through, and the cauldron became more and more amazing with each passing day. This cauldron was resplendent, and even the power of the galaxy that spread out from the cauldron began to drill into the cauldron's walls under the influence of the forging technique and the power of laws. Moreover, the cauldron's potential was also forced out. This was a supreme-grade astral body, a rough embryo of supreme treasure that could only be found by chance. A full 9 days and 9 nights passed. The cauldron was shaking on its own as if it had given birth to intelligence. The cauldron was very calm, and no mystical colors could be seen from it. It looked like a very ordinary cauldron. However, as Su Yan took out this silver cauldron, he changed. It was extremely shocking. Suddenly, It released millions of rays of divine light that contained a terrifying aura. It faintly seemed as if it was going to collapse the void. Suyin was pleasantly surprised. His natal cauldron's potential had been dug out a lot, and its power soared. Some people in the village watched and pointed at it. The cauldron was awakening and gently swaying, emitting a suffocating fluctuation. It erupted into a sky-piercing wave that pierced through the heavens. Suyin was pleasantly surprised. His current natal cauldron was tyrannical enough that its strength could crush a mountain. The natal cauldron escaped into the life spring. At this moment, Su Yin and the natal cauldron became one. His body involuntarily emitted a powerful aura, as if a giant beast was hibernating here, ready to erupt with heaven-shaking divine power at any time. Boom! At night, wave after wave of vast fluctuation spread out. At first, the movement wasn't too big, but who would have thought that it would become countless times stronger in an extremely short period of time? It even caused the desolate mountain forest that covered an area of 1,000,000 miles to shake. A corner of Alcade Planet emerged in an instant. Strand after strand of snow-white light illuminated the starry skies in a resplendent manner. All the cultivators on Alcade Planet were shocked. They looked into the distance and saw an unforgettable scene. When strand after strand of aura that was thick enough to prop up the heavens gushed out, a supreme power erupted with a loud bang. Boom! The supreme aura spread throughout the entire Big Dipper star region. Countless families and powers saw the light released from a corner of Alcade Planet. It was too blazing, countless times more blazing than the sun. In fact, this light was becoming more and more dazzling and resplendent. A corner of the vast universe was surrounded by the supreme aura of life. It was like an immortal star that had been sleeping for eternity was awakening. It was dazzling and resplendent. The Big Dipper is awakening. The appearance of the Big Dipper caused the universe to become restless. For example, in this star region, a terrifying existence stood at the peak. The fluctuations that rippled out from his body swept through the starry skies. The divine might that had awakened in his body was too vigorous. It was as if the sea of the universe was burning. Within the entire star region, trillions of living beings prostrated themselves in worship. This was the supreme divine king of their star region. He stood high above, overlooking the starry skies. A star region was too big. There were trillions of stars and tens of thousands of races. In the vast universe, there were also countless star regions. This terrifying existence stood at the peak of the star region, illuminating the starry skies. He was the ruler of this star region. Immediately after, the nearby star regions also suddenly emanated the aura of the ruler of a star region. For a time, in this vast universe, one powerful existence after another overlooked the starry skies. Even if they were separated by many star systems, they could feel each other's tyrannical strength and the supreme aura that emanated from them. This was only a star region that was slightly closer to the Big Dipper star region. These terrifying existences looked at the Big Dipper from afar and enjoyed the worship of the living beings that they controlled. Their eyes were cold. The Big Dipper was the ancient star with the strongest life forms. It was recorded in ancient books that in ancient times, the nearby star regions were ruled by the Big Dipper lineage. The Big Dipper lineage is getting weaker and weaker. A man with a majestic aura, majestic and imposing, his aura gently swayed, propping up the primal chaos. He was the lord of Star Domain. He coldly said, "Right now, only Shueguan is worthy of being on the stage, and he's still not a heaven's pride of the Big Dipper bloodline. The Big Dipper sovereign hasn't appeared yet. Shueguan hasn't comprehended the great Tao yet. The Big Dipper lineage won't be last in the Myriad Domain battle, right? I think we should dispatch our prodigies to conquer the Big Dipper star region and seize the Big Dipper seal." Dozens of figures with terrifying auras sat cross-legged in the chaos, looking at the Big Dipper. Some of them were conversing. This involved a very terrifying problem. A star region could only have one supreme. The young supreme needed to obtain the star region's Great Tao seal. This seal was unique in the star region. The young supreme of the Big Dipper star region was the Big Dipper sovereign. One could imagine how cruel and desperate the battle for the title of Big Dipper sovereign would be. Moreover, once one was conferred the title, they would be close to the star region's great Tao. In the future, they would far surpass their peers. Rumble. In the depths of a universe, the border region was too far away from the Big Dipper star region. A wisp of aura was awakening. It was ancient and cold, shocking the surrounding experts. In front of this wisp of aura, they were as insignificant as ants looking up at the sky. That was a blurry figure that had revealed his true body. He stood at the end of the universe, in the chaos ruins. Although they couldn't see clearly, billions of primal chaos revolve around him, making him seem like a supreme. His pupils were as large as ancient stars, overlooking the heavens and looking at the Big Dipper. It seems like the Big Dipper is hiding some secrets that have attracted the attention of the great figures who traverse the chaos ruins. The star region's master was speechless. He sensed the fluctuations emitted by the terrifying existence in the chaos ruins, making him feel suppressed. This was definitely an almighty existence that could pierce through heaven and earth. After all, the Big Dipper was extremely prosperous in the past, ranked among the top 10 superpowers. It was rumored that the Big Dipper was related to the Immortal Mountains. What were these Immortal Mountains? Even the old antiques couldn't say for sure, but it was rumored that once one obtained the Immortal Mountains, they would obtain supreme power and incomparable inheritance. The whereabouts of the 9 great Immortal Mountains were unknown. Everyone wanted to dig out their secrets. The Star Tomb is open. I feel the vitality of the most powerful ancient star. Chapter 2:10. In the vast Big Dipper starfield, just the 7 supreme ancient planets alone had countless geniuses and clans. Although the Big Dipper bloodline was the overlord of the Big Dipper starfield, there were countless inheritances and powers in the entire Big Dipper starfield. Although the Golden Dragon King was respected as the overlord of planet Alcade, in the entire Big Dipper starfield, his influence was not great. Not to mention that there were hundreds of advanced ancient planets in the Big Dipper starfield, all of which were occupied by powerful clans. The Big Dipper has appeared, the strongest ancient planet belonging to our Big Dipper bloodline. The Big Dipper elders had a complicated expression. Back then, the Big Dipper starfield was one of the top 10 superpowers because of the collapse of the Big Dipper starfield. The Big Dipper has appeared. The younger generation was agitated. The young geniuses were emitting strong battle intent. They wanted to stand out in the Big Dipper starfield and strive for the realm of experts in the future. The older generation was also looking forward to entering in a few years. Maybe they would encounter some opportunities, and by then, some big shots would appear in the Big Dipper starfield. Rumble. In the vast Big Dipper starfield, battleships appeared frequently, rushing towards planet Alcade. The ancient Starry Sky Array had already been activated, transporting batches of geniuses to planet Alcade. As for the Big Dipper bloodline, a group of elders jointly released the recruitment list, attracting the attention of all the major clans. Although the Big Dipper bloodline was not as glorious as before, it was still the overlord of the Big Dipper starfield. Its position was unshakable. Not to mention the Big Dipper Palace, just the 7 palaces alone had a shocking foundation. Every generation could produce shocking geniuses. Planet Alcade had now become the most lively place in the Big Dipper starfield. Experts arrived frequently, and the older generation of the major clans escorted the younger generation. In an instant, tens of millions of young geniuses in the Big Dipper starfield rushed to planet Alcade. This was a shocking scene. It was a super grand event. A genius who had been dormant for decades had appeared and came to planet Alcade with shocking power. The 7 giants of the Big Dipper bloodline have gathered, but I wonder how strong the only disciple of the Big Dipper Star Master is. The Star Beast King is also here. I wonder how strong it is. The elders of the Big Dipper clan came out to greet them warmly. The Astral Beast clan was second only to the Big Dipper clan and the Big Dipper clan. Next was the Schwef family. However, What made all the geniuses speechless was that Shui Guan was trapped in Brilliant City and would not be able to come out in a short period of time. Right now, a large number of cultivators had already charged into the Savage Mountain Forest. Experts with astonishing auras frequently passed by. Roar! In the distance, people shouted and beasts roared. Armored horses trampled through the air, and a large banner fluttered in the wind. It emitted an austere aura as it charged towards the Savage Mountain Forest. So many people have come. Su Yin and Tai Baokai had also mixed in. They looked left and right and were shocked. There were too many to count. There were tens of millions of young cultivators in the Big Dipper constellation, and even the weakest of them was in the Dao sect realm. Su Yin inspected a group of cavalry that was charging over. The leader was a young man with thick eyebrows and big eyes. He was tall and sturdy and carried a bronze broadsword. He was awe-inspiring, and there was a shocking aura of Dharma, phase, emanating from his body. Li Qing from the Ancient Li clan. This person is really impressive. He once competed with various geniuses. Another group of people charged over. They were not inferior to the Ancient Li clan's formation. Some of the older generation praised. It's the Hong clan. The leader is Hong Xian. This person is not bad. The Hong clan's inheritance is ancient, and it's rumored that they have great divine abilities. Great divine abilities were too rare. Very few ancient aristocratic families had such divine abilities. There were not many great divine abilities in the entire Big Dipper clan, and most of them had been lost. A large number of experts from various factions rushed over, and the entire Savage Mountain Forest shook day and night. The people charging over from the distance all had great backgrounds. Especially in the void, there were large battleships traversing through, and the commotion was even more shocking. Some of the battleships were even more eye-catching. They were huge and completely black, and rippled with a vast starry sky aura. It was very likely that there were geniuses from the outer realms crossing over to conquer the Big Dipper. Of course, the most eye-catching group was the Big Dipper clan. Han Tong's group of 8 was already shocking enough. It could be said that there were 8 divine furnaces burning, emitting a world-shaking divine light that was faintly discernible. There are so many geniuses in the Big Dipper clan. Su Yin muttered in his heart. There were too many to count, and he was dazzled by the sight. Hee, these people can't even compare to my elder brother. Shui family also sent many people. Shui Long stood on top of a mountain. His vitality was boundless, and his meridians were like dragons. He was like a barbaric dragon at such a young age. He shook his head and sneered at the people rushing over. If my elder brother were here, he would definitely be able to sweep through everyone. Shuilong's voice traveled very far. Li Qing and the other outstanding figures of the younger generation all had gloomy expressions. When they noticed that it was Shuilong, they all sneered. Shui Guan was now trapped in Brilliant City and couldn't come out at all. What a good sweep through everyone. Even if a young supreme being with a star domain imprint came, he wouldn't dare to say such a thing. Don't you know that there's always someone better than you? A thunderous voice rolled over, intimidating everyone's souls. The surrounding people turned pale with fright, and some even almost fell to the ground. That was because the other party's voice was like the ringing of a golden bell. Every syllable contained the aura of a divine ability. It was truly shocking. Who is it? Shuilong's expression turned ugly. He looked around and berated. Who is speaking? How long? A trembling sound came from the void. Su Yin shook his head and looked around. He was endlessly shocked because the incoming battleship was too astonishing. It emitted an oppressive aura that caused the void to collapse. This battleship was truly astonishing. Moreover, it was engraved with Dao marks. When the battleship crossed over, some people saw a huge word engraved on the hull. Marshal. Su Yin observed this word. This marshal seemed to be the carrier of the great Dao. It was like a bronze giant towering between heaven and earth, looking down on the heavens with disdain and spreading an aura that could sweep through the sea. Could it be? The Shui family's expression changed. They hurriedly asked, May I ask if it's someone from the Ancient Wu family? Ancient Wu family? I know this family. The people here discussed spiritedly. This family's surname was extremely ancient. The Wu family had been passed down for countless years and still stood tall in the long river of time. It was rumored that during their golden age, they could contend against superpowers. However, this family's population was sparse. It was rumored that their bloodline was astonishing and belonged to an extremely ancient bloodline. Although their population was sparse, each and every one of them was an outstanding talent. The battleship's door opened, and a figure whose aura pierced the heavens walked out. He was like a golden deity. His body emitted an overflowing martial aura that caused the void to distort and collapse. What a powerful talent! Su Yan was inwardly shocked. This was a genius from the outer realm. This person's grasp of martial arts had reached the acme of perfection. Otherwise, he wouldn't have such might. He was definitely not inferior to Mizar Juzi. In fact, he would only know who was stronger after a fight. Shuelong's expression was ugly. He knew how powerful the Wu family was, so he didn't dare to utter a word. Wu Heng, why are you bickering with a child? If you really fight with Shueguan, you might not be able to last more than 10 moves. A cold laughter rang out with the power to overturn rivers and seas. It was as if a sea of blood had rushed out from the horizon. The qi and blood that seeped out was like a burning ocean, interweaving with the dense patterns of the sea. It was faintly emitting the aura of the great Tao. What a powerful physical body! Tai Baokai was astonished. Wu Heng, so he is Wu Heng. In the vast universe, he is considered a peerless genius. In the future, he will be qualified to be conferred the title of Supreme. Yao Guang Juzi and the others were astonished. They had heard of this person's name. He was very famous in some starfields and belonged to the Wu family's younger generation. Boom! A figure rushed over from the horizon. He was clad in blood-colored armor. His blood essence was too vigorous and terrifying. It was as if a demonic mountain was rushing over. Even Mizar Juzi was astonished. This person's blood essence was even more vigorous than his. He had the extreme, yang, celestial physique. Zhu Xing, Wu Heng's martial aura covered the sky. He said coldly, "What are you doing here?" His surname is Zhu. The older generation looked as if they had met a tiger. Their faces turned pale. Tai Baokai and Su Yan's eyes turned cold. They clenched their fists and were filled with anger. The people from the Ancestral Hall had brought disaster to Earth. If it wasn't for Bamboo Moon's supreme treasure, Earth's lineage might have been enslaved. Ancestral Hall. Su Yan clenched his fists so tightly that they crackled. He was trying his best to suppress the killing intent in his heart. Tai Baokai said fiercely, "This person's blood essence is too vigorous. It's too difficult to kill him." It was very quiet here. The younger generation were all astonished. They didn't understand what was so special about this person's name. The Ancestral Hall was too terrifying. They were one of the top 10 superpowers. They intimidated the heavens, ruled the world, and passed down countless ancient inheritances. "I'm here for Fairy Beidou." Zhu Xing wore blood-red armor and looked like a blood-red demon. He was arrogant and domineering. He said with a cold expression, "I heard that Fairy Beidou is missing a sutra. I came specially to get it for Fairy Beidou and bring the beauty home." Mizar Juzi and the others had ugly expressions. Although their elders didn't get along with the Lord of Big Dipper, Fairy Beidou's elegance was unparalleled. Which young man didn't admire her? Now that Zhu Xing had said this in front of all the young geniuses in the Big Dipper starfield, it instantly angered everyone. What a joke. You want to marry Fairy Beidou? Wu Heng laughed loudly. His words shook the heavens and contained a valiant martial aura. Zhu Xing's aura was shocking. The blood essence in his body surged like the sea. He said coldly, "Why can't I, Zhu Xing, do it? Back then, my clan came to the Big Dipper starfield and helped Fairy Beidou quell the rebellion. We even killed a few old experts in the burial field. You people of the Big Dipper lineage haven't forgotten this, right?" Zhu Xing's cold eyes stared at Mizar Juzi and the others, as if he was looking at a group of prey. Yao Guang Juzi and the others were silent. Su Yan's expression was strange. What had happened 100 years ago? And what kind of place was the burial field? Our Big Dipper lineage has no enmity with the burial field. Don't speak nonsense. A cold voice came from afar. Zhu Xing, as a member of the Ancestral Hall, you should know how important this matter is. If you continue to speak nonsense, don't blame me for asking you to leave. The place was in an uproar. Fairy Beidou had arrived. Her words caused the young generation to release their pent-up anger. If my son Guanjun was here, why would he need Fairy Beidou to speak? The matter of defeating the geniuses of the outer realms is naturally his responsibility. The Shui family head's expression was ugly. Shui Guan was trapped in Alcade City and couldn't leave for a while. Wu Heng shook his head slightly and thought to himself, the Big Dipper lineage really has no one left. Zhu Xing is speaking without restraint, and no one from the younger generation stands out to refute him. Fairy Beidou is the Star Lord after all. This matter should be answered by the younger generation. Ha ha ha. Fairy Beidou, please don't be angry. How could I, Zhu Xing, dare to behave so atrociously in front of you? Zhu Xing's aura was restrained, but he didn't show any respect for the Star Lord. Instead, he laughed and said, but I sincerely want to get the scripture for you. The Big Dipper Star Tower is about to appear. Fairy, do you think that with my battle strength, I can get first place in the trial? He's too arrogant. The young cultivators of the Big Dipper Star region were furious. His courage is commendable. Bamboo Moon was graceful and elegant, but her eyes were cold. How could she not be angry? If Zhu Xing really took first place, the Big Dipper Star region would be humiliated. Boom! Some large cracks appeared in the dark star mount. Chapter 211. The Big Dipper Pagoda's inheritance was ancient. In ancient times, it was a training ground used to test the younger generation of the Big Dipper starfield. Gotcha! It was hazy with chaotic radiance. With a light sway, it shattered the darkness and emitted a shockwave that caused even the void to tremble. The Big Dipper Pagoda was shining with dazzling brilliance. Moreover, it drew upon the power of the most powerful ancient stars. For a moment, divine power was like an ocean, majestic and magnificent. The dark star mound was completely distorted and a passage was about to open. I don't only have courage, Zhu Xing said coldly when he saw the Big Dipper Pagoda. He had great confidence in his own cultivation. Although he hadn't been conferred the title of Young Supreme Being, he had the confidence to leave a glorious mark in the Big Dipper Pagoda. If our race's champion was here, would he have the right to be so arrogant? The Shui family was indignant. If Shuiguan was here, he could definitely defeat the geniuses from the outer realms. Would Zhu Xing still be so arrogant then? There was only one Young Supreme Being in a star field. But if the title of Young Supreme Being was taken by someone from the outer realms, that would be a great humiliation. Why didn't any of our Big Dipper lineage's geniuses step forward? Are Mizar Juzi and the others mute? They are the giants of the Big Dipper lineage. If they step forward to fight Zhu Xing, then they will be the legitimate ones. The Big Dipper lineage's cultivators all held their breaths and felt humiliated. They hoped that one of the Big Dipper lineage's geniuses would step forward to challenge Zhu Xing and display the Big Dipper Starfield's might. Rumble. The Big Dipper Pagoda's fluctuations became more and more vast and terrifying. Strands of divine might surged violently and wreaked havoc in the darkness. The darkness continued to collapse. The older generation was curious as to how the star mound was formed. They even wondered why the Big Dipper star collapsed back then. This was a mystery that had perplexed the Big Dipper Starfield's experts for tens of thousands of years. They still couldn't find the answer. It's coming out. The place was in an uproar. The Big Dipper Pagoda was becoming more and more tyrannical. Rumbling sounds could be heard as it awakened to the extreme. It drew upon the power of the most powerful ancient star. For a moment, the terrifying power overflowed the heavens. Strange phenomena of millions of stars appeared. The fluctuations of a starry sky dragon. The Dipper Pagoda. It was a shocking scene. The Big Dipper Tower was sacred and dignified. It radiated billions of silver light beams that interweaved together to form a great silver path that extended outwards. Charge! A large group of cultivators rushed in, wanting to rush to the Big Dipper Tower as soon as possible. If you don't have enough battle strength, stand back. Zhu Xing's eyes turned cold. His entire body was covered in bloody light. His chi was boundless, and he looked like a bloody demon, cruel and dominating. He stomped on it, as if he was stomping on a group of ants. It was effortless, cruel, and merciless. All around, there were cries of alarm and resentment. Zhu Xing was too tyrannical. Large swaths of cultivators fell to the ground, trembling. They were about to be trampled to death by Zhu Xing's foot. A bunch of trash. Zhu Xing smiled coldly. He was too lazy to kill this group of people. He left them with a cold back and walked towards the star tomb along the silver path. Damn it, this is too arrogant. Young Dragon King was so angry that his face turned ashen. Mother Kerr, I'll find a chance to kill him. Tai Baokai was furious. He glared at Zhu Xing with his bell-sized eyes, wishing he could swallow him whole. Are all the people from the ancestral hall so arrogant? Su Yan's eyes shone with divine light. He turned to look at Bamboo Moon and found that Bamboo Moon's face was faintly unsightly. Bamboo Moon is the noble Star Lord, but she's also in a bad mood. This is equivalent to a native planet being enslaved by other experts. Similarly, if a star region is not strong enough, it will also be bullied by the geniuses from the outer realms. Su Yan's heart was surging with killing intent. He hated the people from the Ancestral Hall very much. If he had the chance, he wouldn't be lenient. Star-Lord, the situation is very clear now. If the first place of the Big Dipper Tower trial falls to Zhu Xing, the consequences will be unimaginable. How are we going to explain this to our ancestors? The Big Dipper lineage's Hall Masters had all arrived. Their faces were very gloomy. Hall Master Yao Guang said coldly, I think we should bring Shueguan here and let him compete with Zhu Xing. Let Shueguan in to compete with Zhu Xing? Bamboo Moon frowned slightly and said in a low voice, Do you think Shueguan can compete with the people from the Ancestral Hall? Even so, we can't let Zhu Xing continue to be so arrogant. If Shueguan doesn't want to be enemies with Zhu Xing, you won't let Zhu Xing take first place in the trial. I think it'll be very difficult for the giants to compete with Zhu Xing. If Shueguan doesn't come and the first place of the trial falls to Zhu Xing, our Big Dipper constellation can't afford to lose face like this. The Big Dipper lineage's Hall Masters were all enraged and had aggressive postures. Some of the elders beside Bamboo Moon had ugly expressions. Bamboo Moon had just broken down with Shueguan, and now they wanted her to lower herself to talk to Shueguan. It wasn't as if they didn't know what Shueguan's conditions were. Our Big Dipper lineage can't even suppress one Zhu Xing. Without Shueguan, can't we stop the geniuses from the outer realms? I don't believe it. Bamboo Moon secretly clenched her teeth and frowned. She looked at the endless stream of people rushing towards the silver path. There were too many cultivators running inside, and it was difficult to count them all. The silver path was formed from the laws of the Great Tao. It forcefully opened a path in the darkness and guided the cultivators into the Big Dipper. It was hard to count the number of people who had rushed in. At the end of the silver path was a once glorious ancient life star. It was majestic, as if a giant starry sky dragon was hibernating at the end of the silver path. From far away, one could see the grandeur of this domain. It was boundless, vast, and rich in resources. The divine essence was exuberant, and it emitted auspicious clouds. Mountain ranges rose and fell. The ridges were majestic and magnificent, with flowing springs and waterfalls. One could faintly see some of the peaks with rare great medicines taking root and spitting out the essence of heaven and earth. There were a few ancient trees that covered the sky, full of vitality, making the older generation extremely excited. The most powerful ancient star's reputation was well-deserved. After cultivating here for a long time, one's body would be affected by the most powerful ancient star, improving one's aptitude. This was only a corner of the Big Dipper, but it was full of majestic pressure. Under the Great Tao, all were ants. This was the power of the Great Tao. It made people suffocate. Even the Transcendence Realm experts felt like they were being shattered. They were all shocked. The stronger one's cultivation was, the more they could feel the tyranny of the strongest ancient star. The current Big Dipper was full of the Great Tao. If experts who had comprehended the Great Tao stepped into the Big Dipper, they would be suppressed by the Great Tao and die easily. Therefore, when the Big Dipper Palace Master opened, experts like the Big Dipper Palace Master couldn't enter. A few years later, when the Great Tao's aura was gradually withdrawn, they could come here to cultivate. As expected of the Big Dipper, even the Great Tao is revealed. These few years are the golden period for cultivation. If I can comprehend the Great Tao, my lifespan will increase by thousands of years. The Big Dipper is a place full of heroes. It must have nurtured many heavenly treasures. It's a great opportunity to gain something. A large number of cultivators rushed into the vast territory of the Big Dipper. Although there were many of them, the Big Dipper's territory was boundless. When they rushed in, they seemed insignificant in comparison to the vast territory of the strongest ancient planet. Let's go to the Big Dipper Pagoda, Tai Baokai whispered. Only by passing the Big Dipper Pagoda can we enter the core area of the Big Dipper. If we rush in by foot, who knows how long it will take. This is a great opportunity. With your physical body, you can probably rush to first place. Who knows, with the help of the Big Dipper Pagoda, you might be able to reconstruct the various mystic realms. The Big Dipper Pagoda was not easy to pass. A large number of cultivators rushed to the Big Dipper Pagoda, but there were still millions of cultivators who stayed to challenge the Big Dipper Pagoda. At the end of the silver path stood a towering pagoda. It was ancient and dignified, standing in the middle of the territory. It was filled with the vicissitudes of time. It had witnessed the glory of the Big Dipper constellation generation after generation. The Big Dipper Pagoda was too tall. No one knew what material it was made of. It was surrounded by chaotic light, mysterious and powerful. It was one with the aura of the Big Dipper. The Big Dipper Pagoda. My first battle in the Big Dipper constellation will begin here. Zhu Xing was laughing loudly. He was wearing blood-red armor. His entire body was filled with vitality that could easily drown the sky. He was like a blood-red demon god, cold, domineering, and full of confidence. Wu Heng was silent. His physical body was also extremely terrifying. The ancient martial clan had mastered the absolute heaven technique. However, Wu Heng knew that in terms of scriptures and resources, the ancestral hall was too amazing. Zhu Xing was the son of a big shot in the martial arts hall. His bloodline was powerful, and his physical body was even more terrifying. Kaiyang Juzi and the others followed closely behind. Behind them were Li Qing and the other young geniuses. There were tens of thousands of people who could be called geniuses in the Big Dipper constellation. There were also hundreds of young geniuses who had stepped into the transcendence realm. However, when they approached the Big Dipper Pagoda, the Big Dipper Pagoda released a vast suppressive aura that made their bodies tremble. This power is similar to the Savage Mountain. Su Yan was shocked. His life's spring had been sealed. Even his physical body's combat power had been reduced layer by layer, returning to its original state. This was the supreme power of the Great Tao that enveloped millions of cultivators. Instantly, millions of cultivators had their auras reduced as they were reduced to their original states. Primordial Realm. My strength has been suppressed to the primordial realm. The Big Dipper Pagoda's power is truly astounding. The trials of the Big Dipper Pagoda are conducted one realm after another. The first trial tests the primordial realm. Once one ascends the steps, they can rush to the Big Dipper Pagoda to accept the second trial. That's right. There are opportunities in the Big Dipper Pagoda. If one performs well, they will receive great opportunities. 9,999 steps. Could it be that I have to reach the peak? That's not the case. Endure for a period of time, and you will have a right to enter the Big Dipper Pagoda. There was a flurry of discussion as people had already rushed forward. Zhu Xing was the first to rush forward. Although his cultivation realm had been suppressed to the primordial realm, his body was extremely powerful. He was like a ferocious cub. His entire body shimmered with surging blood essence as he burned like a volcano. I'm going to be first. Zhu Xing laughed out loud as he saw the gigantic stone monument descend from the sky. The moment he stepped on it, the stone monument automatically recorded Zhu Xing's aura. It even calculated the time it took for the stone monument to appear. The stone monument would record the time from the beginning to the end. Unbelievable! The surrounding people were dumbfounded. The moment Zhu Xing rushed up, he was like a blood-colored bolt of lightning as he rushed up 3,000 steps. Wu Heng followed closely behind. Mizar Juzi and company also rushed up. Instantly, millions of cultivators rushed up the stone steps. The stone steps were spatial treasures. Not to mention millions of cultivators. Even tens of millions of cultivators could withstand it. How is his body so strong? The large number of cultivators that rushed up were alarmed. Only a small number of people reached the 2,000th step. Most of them stopped at the 1,000th step. Some of the self-proclaimed geniuses suffered a huge setback. Zhu Xing rushed up to the 3,000th step. Ha ha ha! Zhu Xing roared with laughter and was in high spirits. He was number one as he rushed toward the top of the stone steps. As he withstood the immense pressure, his body became even more powerful. Every step he took allowed him to leap up a few hundred steps. Shuelong's expression was extremely nasty. He could not take it any longer after rushing to the 2,000th step. He bellowed angrily. People of the Big Dipper lineage, take a good look. Without my brother, who can compete with Zhu Xing's primordial realm physical strength? If you don't invite my brother here, I'll see who's the one being embarrassed. Little Tianlong, who gave you the courage to spout nonsense here? If you have nothing better to do, go home and drink milk. Don't embarrass yourself here. The Tai Bao's 4 hooves danced like windmills as it raised its head and charged up. While enduring the immense pressure, it overtook Shuelong, leaving behind a disdainful voice. It's you. Shuelong's eyes widened in anger. Even if the Tai Baokai was reduced to ashes, he would still recognize it. He never expected to encounter it here. Boom! At that moment, the world rumbled as strands of astounding energy suddenly awakened and tore through the sky. The cultivators that were climbing the stone steps swayed as their lifeblood churned. They nearly fell to the ground. Someone looked down and saw a scene that left him astounded. It was a person stepping on the ground, causing the ground to rumble. If not for the hard ground, the region would have definitely caved in. Heavens! The surrounding people screamed as they saw Su Yin soar into the sky like a true dragon. Boom! Chapter 2:12. Who is that? The cultivators near the Big Dipper Pagoda were appalled, especially the cultivators who were charging up. They were filled with disbelief. They knew the pressure of the stairs, especially when they charged up. Their bodies would suffer an extremely perverse oppression. But now, there was someone even more ferocious than Zhu Xing. He had leaped up from below and charged up more than 3,000 stone steps. The Tai Baokai from before had already moved them, but now there was a monster even more ferocious than the Tai Baokai. He had used such barbaric means to charge up more than 3,000 stone steps. Even the important figures watching from outside the Star Tomb were shocked. This primordial realm's body was too perverse. It was like a barbaric dragon. Was he comparable to a young divine beast? Who is this person? Our Big Dipper stellar region actually has such an elite. He's truly valiant. Alcade Palace Master was extremely alarmed. From the looks of it, this person's body is comparable to Zhu Xing's. I even feel that he's more astonishing than Zhu Xing. Could it be that our Big Dipper supreme body has arrived? It doesn't look like it. If this person can surpass Zhu Xing, it will be a good thing for our Big Dipper stellar region. The important figures of the Big Dipper lineage discussed fervently. They were pleasantly surprised. The Shui family members had ugly expressions. This body was a little ridiculous. Could it be that Shui Guan had gained another powerful foe? It's probably another paragon from another realm. The Shui family head said coldly. There's going to be a good show. I don't want the first or second place to be taken by another paragon. I feel that there's a need for our race's champion to hold up the fort. Su Yin looked unfamiliar. The elders of the Big Dipper lineage could not tell where Su Yin came from. Furthermore, the Big Dipper Pagoda had astonishing great Tao powers. It was difficult for them to see through Su Yin immediately. Astral Lord, look! This mutated beast actually has such divine strength. One of the elders under Bamboo Moon's command was overjoyed. He hurriedly said, I didn't expect this strange beast to be so fierce. Star-Lord, is this the guardian beast of our clan's ancestor? The faces of the Shui family patriarch and Alcade Palace master instantly turned ugly. They both noticed that the Tai Baokai had also reached the 3,000th step. For a moment, the place was in an uproar. How could this Tai Baotsai's body be so terrifying? The Golden Dragon King's heart trembled. Tai Baotsai's origins were very mysterious. He was in charge of the banners of demons, but he didn't think that Tai Baotsai's physical body would be so astonishing. It was comparable to a young mythological beast. Look, a Starry Sky Beast King is also amazing, but why is it still some distance away from being a mutated beast? Some people felt that this was inconceivable. They saw a silver-robed silhouette rush up. His appearance was handsome, and he seemed to be both male and female. There was a horn on his forehead that was suffused with divine might. This horn shone on its own, causing the aura of the Starry Sky King Beast to become extremely astonishing. The Starry Sky Beast King's silver pupils suddenly shrank. It saw that the Tai Baokai had actually rushed in front of it. Brat, what are you looking at? Be careful, or I'll suppress you. The Tai Baokai was very smug. It raised its big round head and stared at the Starry Sky Beast King, showing off. Su Yin kicked it and said in a low voice, Hurry up, stop showing off. Starry Sky Master, look. Elder Shao, one of the Big Dipper bloodline, laughed heartily. Our clan's guardian mythological beast seems to have an extraordinary relationship with this prodigy. Fairy Big Dipper's eyes also lit up. She was very clear that the Tai Baokai and Su Yan's origins were not simple. She even couldn't help but guess, could this prodigy be Su Yan? The Shui family patriarch's face was filled with loathing. He said coldly, What? Does Elder Shaowen think that this person is Su Yan? That's hard to say. Maybe it's Su Yan. Although Shaowen knew that this was impossible, he still deliberately disgusted the Shui family patriarch. He said, The prodigies of my Big Dipper bloodline are really heaven-sent martial artists. Look, they're almost at the 5,000 stone steps. However, Su Yan is still the most shocking. He's already close to the 6,000 stone steps. He'll soon surpass Zhu Xing. Damn it! The Shui family patriarch almost went crazy with anger. He shouted angrily, How can it be Su Yan? A little cultivator wants to compete with Zhu Xing? Don't be delusional. Hall Master Yao Guang and the others also shook their heads. It was impossible for it to be Su Yan. If he was Su Yan, the Big Dipper bloodline's doyen would have already taken Su Yan into the sect and nurtured him. They had never heard of the occult sect having an expert in the physical body. Zhu Xing is too terrifying. He's already reached the 7,000 stone steps. Can he pass the stone steps? Who knows? But that prodigy who just rushed up is almost catching up with Young Dragon King. If they all rushed up together, I think that prodigy might be on par with Zhu Xing. I wonder who that person is. Could it be another prodigy from outside the realm? The appearance of Su Yan and Tai Baokai made them speculate. Now, Su Yan had already surpassed some prodigies and was rushing towards the peak. Rumble. Zhu Xing's power became more and more shocking. His bloodline power was awakened. His entire body emitted a bloody light. He was like a bloody dragon that had recovered his physical strength to the extreme and continued to rush up the stone steps. Wu Heng let out a deep roar. His body also emitted a vigorous essence blood energy. He was like a martial god. The divinity of an awakened within his body also began to increase his speed. Guys, look, the most shocking was still Mizar Juzi. His physical body was extremely domineering. After all, he had the extreme yang celestial body and cultivated the Big Dipper lineage's shocking heavenly arts. His physical body was extremely powerful. He soared into the sky, and his power increased by a notch. He surpassed Yao Guang and the rest, and chased closely behind Wu Heng. Good, as expected of Mizar Juzi. He's about to surpass the prodigies from outside the realm. The Big Dipper lineage's cultivators discussed. They were all very happy to see Mizar Juzi display his might. Look, Han Tong is also exploding. After all, he's the eldest senior brother of the Big Dipper lineage's younger generation. His physical body is extremely powerful and is ranked 4th. Zhu Xing and the rest began to slow down. They had already reached the 8,000 stone steps. The pressure here was extremely shocking. Some prodigies were finding it difficult to endure. There were also many cultivators who were pulled out by the starlight from the Big Dipper Tower and sent into the Big Dipper Hall. This meant that they were qualified to enter the next round of tests. However, everyone knew that the stronger the talent displayed in the first round, the stronger the test, and the more shocking the rewards. Is it that the strange beast that beat up Shui Long and stole the great Dao Pearl? Someone said in astonishment. Many gazes were drawn to the Tai Bao Kai. They recognized this comical-looking strange beast. It was extremely ferocious and charged all the way up. Its physical strength was so powerful that it surpassed some of the prodigies. Incredible! Even a Void Beast King can only follow behind him. What's the origin of this strange beast? It's definitely not simple. What's the origin of Su Yan? Has he come? Why don't I see Su Yan? Some people found it inconceivable. An unfamiliar prodigy had arrived. He was extremely ferocious and was about to reach the 8,000 stone steps. Even Yao Guang and the rest were being overtaken. Yao Guang wanted to shout angrily. He wanted to surpass Su Yan in a spurt of energy, but it was very difficult for him to do so. Heavens, who is this person? He's already ranked 5th. Everyone was tongue-tied. Su Yan's speed was extremely ferocious. He charged all the way up and was already closing in on Han Tong. Han Tong's expression was somewhat gloomy as he charged with all his might. However, every stone step contained an astonishing pressure that made him feel suffocated. The faster he charged, the more astonishing the pressure he encountered. In the next moment, everyone's faces paled. Su Yan had already surpassed Han Tong and was charging into 4th place. What shocked them even more was that the Tai Bao Kai and the Void Beast King were following closely behind, surpassing Yao Guang and the rest. Look, the Little Dragon King has also erupted. He surpassed Yao Guang. The Little Dragon King is proficient in physical strength after all. In fact, the first round tested the foundation of the physical body. With Yao Guang's potential, he could only display exceptional combat strength in the second round. There was a lot of discussion in the Big Dipper Hall. The important figures watching outside were all agitated, especially the Golden Dragon King, who was laughing loudly. He was very satisfied that the Little Dragon King had suppressed Yao Guang in the primordial realm. What's the origin of this mutated beast? Many important figures were paying attention to the Tai Bao Kai. After all, it and Su Yan had done so many things. Even an important figure from the Shui family had been killed. The Shui family head's expression was very ugly. This time, the glory should have belonged to Shui Guan. However, the enemy that could not be compared to Shui Guan was actually in the limelight. Mizar Juzi is about to be surpassed. Everyone's hearts trembled. Mizar Juzi was already shocking enough. His physical body was terrifying and was almost catching up to Wu Hong. However, Su Yan was now catching up. Mizar Juzi roared. His divine might shook the heavens. His body was like the sun, shining brilliantly. He forced out all his potential and charged forward. However, the aura that had awakened behind him made Mizar Juzi pale. Su Yan's body seemed to have thousands of horses galloping. The stone steps rumbled as he stepped on them. He was like a divine dragon emerging from the sea. He soared and surpassed Mizar Juzi. What a joke. The top 3 spots of the training grounds have been taken by the extraterrestrial elites. Shui Long roared with laughter. He was also very extraordinary. He had tempered his body with dragon blood since young, so his physical body was extremely powerful. His attainments in the primordial realm were not inferior to Yao Guang and the rest. He was gradually catching up. The atmosphere was extremely tense. If the top 3 spots were really taken by the extraterrestrial elites, the Big Dipper constellation would lose all face. Big Dipper constellation. For Bamboo Moon, Su Yin turned to look beyond the silver path. He looked at Bamboo Moon and clenched his fists tightly. The moment his lifeblood roared, his aura began to transform. With the circulation of the primordial sutra, Su Yan's body seemed to unlock layer by layer. His entire body was suffused with a golden glow. He soared like a true dragon as his aura turned even more terrifying. Dong! Dong! Step after step, his divine charms shook the heavens like a dragon soaring through the 9 heavens. The stone steps produced deafening thuds. What? Wu Heng's expression changed slightly. As he was charging forward, a figure covered in golden divine light overtook him. His long black hair fluttered behind him as he charged forward at an appalling speed. Look! The surrounding people screamed in excitement. This was because Su Yin had erupted once again. He had circulated the heaven and earth cauldron and was like a massive volcano. He had already charged past 9,000 stone steps and was within reach of Zhu Xing. Bastard, get the hell out of here! Zhu Xing's eyes flashed with a cruel glint. He suddenly turned his head and pushed his primordial realm combat strength to the limit. His fist was like a huge seal that contained the power of the heaven upheaval seal. The pressure could topple mountains and overturn seas. The surrounding people gasped. The Shui family patriarch slapped his thigh and sneered. Look, the extraterrestrials are fighting for first place. Unfortunately, our race's champion isn't here. Otherwise, would they dare fight for first place? That's not right. Su Yin was alarmed. He saw Zhu Xing's tyrannical punch with the power to overturn the heavens. It came crashing down from above in a bid to blast Su Yin down. However, Su Yan's aura was completely different. As he circulated the sun-opening fist, Su Yan's body was like a sun. It surged with the power to destroy armies as it illuminated the heavens like a dazzling star soaring into the sky.